Greetings. How y'all guys out there doing, man? And happy Mother's Day to all the beautiful and amazing mothers out there. My mother, all the mothers of my children. You know what I mean? Happy Mother's Day. You all deserve it. This is the day for you. And if we got some mothers out there, celebrating in the community, happy Mother's Day to you too. Um, it's look, I know it's not International Mother's Day right now because some countries they celebrate it a little bit later than we do or earlier than we do, but still happy Mother's Day to you guys as well. You all deserve it. And thank you for watching. Thanks everybody for being here today. We have an amazing panel. We have an amazing discussion today. Everybody out there in the chat, we thank you for basically being with us this afternoon. Man, like it's a lot to really cover. But again, we can't do it without you guys. So thank you for basically being here. Without further ado, got to bring in the excellent panel in today. What's going on with you guys? We got attention seeking geek, my man Ben, and we got none other than Mr. Clean himself, 1 6-figure focus in the building. Yes, and the hat's off. So when the hat's off, that means that the barber did his due. So definitely, man. Thank you for being here.
I think he's talking about you, Shane. I think he's talking
what
about
he means is that basically I got a haircut.
Nice. Fresh.
We got who else we got here? I think. Oh, wait a minute. I think we got one other person that's wanting to jump in here too. Because Lou just messaged me. He was like, "Yo, send me the link." I was like, "All right." So I think we're gonna have Lou.
He couldn't resist, could he?
Yeah, he couldn't resist. Cam couldn't be with us today because, like I said, he is also celebrating Mother's Day. Which I'll be celebrating Mother's Day again eventually myself later on. So it's gonna be crazy. It's gonna be an amazing day. Again, everybody, thank you for basically being here. And again, we got a lot to cover, man. Before we actually jump in on that, though, real quick, I want to actually address the chat. Everybody that we actually got watching us today. We got Damon Zapp. We got Philip the Fool in the building. Brayton, thank you for being here. We got Scaled Down Shenanigans is in the building. Amir is here. Thank you for being here, Amir. Local Lou is actually out there. He's going to be here shortly. Malika Mabane. We got Ashley Chase. Shiny's in the building. Renz Talentino. We got Mad Makes is actually here. Darth Drez is in the building. Figure Focus was out there wandering around. We had 6 Scale Padawan. We got Triple G Comics is in the building. Joe Augustine. Let's see here. We got AJ Agrusa, Lee O'Reilly. Cassandra is actually out there. We got Real Limes. We got, let's see who else here. I said Renz, the artist premiere, the artist extraordinaire. Renz is actually in the building. We got Mr. Pew Pew is actually out here. And we got the Empire Strikes. And also Ashley Chase is here. Thank you for basically being here as always. S Beam is in here. Good morning to you. And CT603 is in here. So yes, man, Philip the Fool. We got everybody actually out here and a few more to come. So it is going to be such a great afternoon, guys. Man, okay, listen. So we do got a lot to cover today. But before we even jump into like what's going on in the collecting community, I wanted to kind of get your thoughts. On I think a movie that all of us focus. Have you seen this movie, man? Have you seen it yet?
Yep.
You did see it.
Yep.
Okay. So
hot potato.
Focus actually seen it. So you know what? My man Loco Lewis in the building. Loco, here's the thing, bro. I don't know if you picked the right time to basically jump in on this, man. I really don't, because I don't know if did you see this movie yet, bro?
I did not, but you know what? I've seen enough spoilers that I don't give two loving bubs about it. So you can just tell me, spoil it, and I'll just be in giddy as a schoolgirl at the first day of school getting kissed by a boy. I'm just saying.
Oh.
I said giddy like a schoolgirl getting her first kiss. You know what I'm saying?
I got you. I got the wordplay. Yeah, I didn't know.
We got it. We got it, man.
We definitely got the wordplay. So listen, check this out, though. I'm gonna start real quick because I know this is going to be a really mixed review here. I'm gonna say this, and I'll stick by it even after basically seeing it the many times that I've actually seen it so far. I still, I still give it a 10 out of 10. I do. And the reason why, and let me explain this, it's a 10 out of 10 for me. Um, and this is just in my opinion. Number one, because no, I trust Kevin Feige, but also I see the vision, and also I see everything that was there. All they have to basically do, and all they had to say to me was encouraging. When they said that to me, that let me know what was going down. That let me know where they were going, where this is actually headed. And then seeing, you know, again, spoiler alerts for people who haven't seen it. You might not want to be here, but people who have seen it, clear at the very end of this actual film, let me know what we're hitting for. And if anybody who's actually just read the recent iteration of the Death of Doctor Strange, that plays a pivotal part. You know, and on top of that, we know, you know, we know where this, at least I know where it's going. And I'm gonna tell you, look, for all those who were basically upset at the choice of the, you know, demise of the Illuminati that we saw in the film and how quickly it actually happened, you have to understand it was that universe's version. And that universe's version was completely arrogant, and they weren't working together at all. They weren't working together. They thought, even through warnings, even when he told them that they could not face Wanda, you know, especially an OP Wanda at this particular point, impossible for them to do it. They still went head in. So I expected the demise to be what it is. I enjoyed the film because, again, I love the pacing. I love the jump scares. I love what Sam Raimi gave me in this particular film. And the thing is, we're talking about Doctor Strange. Even all the way down to the battle that we got, you know, with you know, the Superior Strange, or basically the Supreme Strange at the very end. That was pretty much something that I wanted to see, because for me, we're talking about Doctor Strange. We're talking about a book. Basically, Strange Tales, its first iteration of when he was introduced, was the first book I had when I was young. That was the first comic book I had. I was seduced, submersed in that lore when I was young. And I loved every bit of what I actually saw. It was something that, I mean, for me, I was just overwhelmed. Of course, when you hear the word incursion, if you hear the word incursion, the first thing that you're going to actually think about, is Secret Wars. And you'll understand why going forward. So when you hear that, you know that we're going to see that, which, you know, we'll probably end up seeing Battle World. There's so many different things to look forward to in this universe. There was, you know, so if you watched, you know, his travel through the multiverse, when America Chavez punched a hole, then you know where this is going. We got a chance to see the Savage Land. We got a chance to even see the universe where the Superior Iron Man exists. So we got a chance to actually see that. There were so many, even Atlantis. You know, we got a chance to actually see that as well. So again, you just have to pay attention to the clues, the conversations that were actually had. We have two characters, in my opinion, that were struck, had, you know, Scarlet dealing with her personal struggles with, you know, the loss of her children. And on top of that, she was seduced by the Darkhold, which increased the emotions that she was experiencing for her children. So she was willing to do any and everything she could to get her children by any means necessary. And we already know that a villain, to them themselves, and when they actually have an agenda, to them, they don't believe that they're villains. And she didn't believe that she was an actually villain. She thought that what she was doing was for the greater good, even if it required sacrifices. Strange dealing with the simple fact that a loss of a loved one, someone where he realized that no matter where he went, what iteration, which multiversal version he encountered, he could not. There was no way that he can actually carry on a relationship. Every relationship failed. He would never get the love that he wanted, and he had to realize that and come to terms that no matter what he did, it would never happen. I thoroughly enjoyed the film. I thoroughly enjoyed the simple fact that, Black Bolt got his somewhat, at least we got a better iteration. No matter the demise, we did get a better iteration. But like I said, where things went south was the simple fact that, number one, we knew that version of the Illuminati did not work well together. And they relied heavily on one individual. So once you take out the big guns, you've seen the flaws in each individual character and how they could not work together. They were basically selfish. And you know what happens when you're selfish. This is what happens. So again, I know a lot of people aren't really fans of Sam Raimi's work. A lot of people aren't really, a fan of his, his direction where he takes. But if you're a fan of comics and you open up a comic book page and you follow the page directly, page by page, how it skips between pages, how it pans from one scene to the next scene to the next scene, this is what's going on in his head. And that's why I see his direction and how he takes. So I think it was a visually astonishing film. The pacing, look, there were certain, was it perfect? Was it super perfect? Hell no. But as a comic book film for me, as a Doctor Strange movie, where it is its own self-contained film, I loved every single bit of this film. So that's me. Attention speaking. Yeah, go ahead.
I got a quick question. So the Doctor Strange that was seeking love, is this a spin off of the Doctor Strange we got from What If?
Sort of.
Okay.
Not really, but sort of. The thing is, we got the explanation, but everybody who thought it was an actual spinoff, it wasn't. But we still got somewhat. I mean, listen, we did get certain characters from the What If story, of course. We got, Captain Carter. We basically got
not the same one though, was it?
It was. I don't think it was the same one. I don't think it was the one.
I think it was a different one.
Yeah, it was definitely a different
backpack.
Yeah, it was definitely a different iteration, and I think we'll see her again. We definitely will see her again. It was just that iteration was from a totally different universe, a multiverse, and again, they were arrogant. They were some arrogant sons of bitches. They just didn't know what the hell was coming, and they didn't prepare for it. Even when you actually had this individual trying to here's the thing. If you're looking for the horror factor, it was a lot of horror in this, and it was a lot of gore in this, bro. It should have been rated R, but it wasn't. I think the PG-13 rating was solidified at certain points because, again, it wasn't a lot going on. Just other scenes, even though you knew, you can see and you can interpret the way you was. When you see it, you know what happened to these characters, but it was implied. Everything was implied, but it just, you didn't see the all-in horror of how things happen. But still, it was fun. I loved it. I loved every bit of it, man. I was all in. A lot of people were upset at the simple fact the Illuminati was taken out as quickly as they were, but I was cool with it. I was cool with it because they were arrogant, and I knew it was going to happen. But at the same time, it does set up the simple fact that we will see an Illuminati in our universe. So, and again, come on, man, John Krasinski as Mr. Fantastic, Stephen Reed. I mean, not Stephen Reed. Reed Richards. Listen, if they don't do that in the MCU, if they don't keep with this particular character, and the thing is, like I said, I do have my feelings. I have my theory that the reason why this director stepped away is because, again, John Krasinski is going to direct the Fantastic Four. I do feel that. I honestly feel that down to my bones that he's going to be the person to do it, and this is what they're looking for. So we'll see how it goes, but I'm excited to see it, and I can't wait. Ben, your thoughts, because I know that Focus is waiting patiently to say what he needs to say, but Ben, tell me what your thoughts are, bro.
I didn't love it. I barely liked it, to be quite honest. I've got there's elements of it that I did really enjoy, but I think they're few and far between, and that pains me. I'm a big Sam Raimi Evil Dead fan, and I was kind of excited to see how his work would kind of translate into the sort of MCU and things. And unfortunately, I think because of his stylized and melodramatic approach, it kind of really made this film stick out like a sore thumb in the MCU. You know, it didn't feel like it was part of that coherent story that they've been telling for, you know, over 10 years. And because of that, it did really kind of take me out of a lot of moments. So that's always a bit of a combination with Sam Raimi of kind of bad scripting, almost like he'll, you know, purposely get the actors to kind of overact moments or kind of do it in more of a kind of melodramatic style. So that being said, I think acting wise, I think Elizabeth Olsen was just unbelievable. She was incredible, as we all know she is, and she really flexed here. And I loved seeing finally the Scarlet Witch and that kind of her embrace that role. But for me, the problem is WandaVision kind of ended that story really with her kind of going back into that heroic role, you know, taking a stance against Agatha Harkness and you know, taking a stand with her kids. And she was sort of portrayed as this hero, and then she obviously went off and was secretly studying the Darkhold. But for me, there was such a big leap from her kind of innocently studying the Darkhold. And I know that it kind of had an effect on her and stuff, but it just felt like a real jump from her kind of having a fairly composed conversation with Stephen Strange and the end of WandaVision to her just like slaughtering people of Carmitage. Like it was a lot, and it was a big jump. The Illuminati stuff was my favorite bit. That was incredible to see. I mean, it was a comic book fan's wet dream, you know, seeing the Ultron sentries, seeing you know, Jim as Reed Richards, seeing you know, Peggy Carter again as Captain Carter. My frustration with the Captain Carter inclusion and Captain Marvel inclusion is, for me, even though it's obviously a multiversal version, I feel like those characters should always be pure in every universe, to the point where they wouldn't ever join a team like the Illuminati. The Illuminati in the comics was always those, you know, hyper intelligent you know, individuals that make the kind of morally grey decisions because they can. And for me, like, I don't think Captain Carter fits that mold. She would never kind of agree to do the things that they kind of agree to do.
And real quick, Ben, we know that even in the comics, Captain America stepped away from the Illuminati.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Number one, because he didn't agree with their morals. But number two, his mind was completely wiped. You know what I mean? So there was a gray area. There were things that we did not know that was going on. But I agree. Like, but here's the thing, and that's why I'm saying, like, that version of the Illuminati in that realm was completely different from what I think we'll see in the future. But go ahead.
Yeah, and I guess you can write it off as that it's just that version of those characters. But like, you know, I think if you've gone to the trouble of like bringing back Black Bolt. By the way, if you told me 2 years ago that they would have brought back the actor who played Black Bolt and given him a redemption, putting him in the comic accurate costume with bloody Kirby wings, you know, displaying his power how it's supposed to be displayed, I would have told you where to go. And yet here we are talking about it. That was amazing. But like, if you're going to go the whole hog and have him and introduce Reed Richards, then why not have Namor? You know, why not have another version of Tony Stark? Like, have those characters, or Beast, I think, was a member at one point and stuff. So like, I don't know. But it was an amazing scene. I loved the brutality and how quick everyone was kind of dispatched. That was all fantastic. I've got to say, I did love the actress who played America Chavez. I'm a big fan of the character from the comics, so it was really amazing to see her. I love that they kind of touched upon the story with her mums. I just think that she's a really interesting character with a really kind of interesting backstory, and I'm looking forward to kind of seeing her flourish and grow in the MCU as she inevitably kind of goes down the Young Avengers route, I'm sure. But so those were some of the good things. But yeah, it was just a lot, and it just, I don't know, it just felt very disjointed. The effects were awful for me. Like like to the point, like at the beginning when it was just Wong and Doctor Strange fighting. I forgot the one-eyed beast monster's name. Shumagorath. Yeah, like simple shots. You know, it looked like Spider-Man. It looked like Sam Raimi's Spider-Man, which, you know, we allow it back in 2001, but now it's like it's unacceptable for those effects to not be where they should be. So that took it out of me. What other things annoyed me? I feel like I've gone on a big rant here, but yeah, I don't know. I feel like the ending, you know, the Clea for me is never a character I've never really cared for, and Charlize Theron's not really an actress I've ever cared for. So it's like a bit of a double combo of me not caring about that. And also, it was like, oh, come with me. There's an incursion. We got to fix it. And it's like, we've just watched that for an hour and a half, pretty much. Like, what, you know, you're just setting up the same story again. The lack of, like, it's very frustrating, right, when you invest so much time into the MCU and you connect all the dots, and, you know, you come on streams and talk with fellow nerds about stuff, and then they haven't even got the courtesy to put in one line or one thread that connects it to Loki, He Who Remains, you know, Kang, you know, because ultimately, like, you have to do that. It's the same stuff going on, you know, and it's so easy to do in this story as well. Like, so that frustrated me a bit, was the lack of real connection to kind of everything else that is going on that is so similar to this. And I know that, be patient, you know, because it's probably going to take another 6 years for us to get to the point of like Secret Wars and Battle World and stuff like that. But, you know, at this point, like Thanos, we'd already seen Thanos post credit, and, you know, you were building that up. So now I'm kind of thinking, right, well, I need to see, you know, whether it be Doom or the Beyonder, whoever's going to kind of, you know, kind of be the villain for Secret Wars. I need to see that now starting to come to fruition, because I'm starting to feel a bit impatient, and ultimately, as a result, this felt a little bit filler by the end of it. And there were bits as well that just, like, it felt so early noughties, like the demons and stuff. I was like, they look like they could have been in Nicolas Cage's Ghost Rider. They look like they could have been in that film. Like, have we not come, you know, further than that? Like, I don't know, and that really took it out of it for me. And, like, yeah, so I'm sad to say, because I was really looking forward to this, but it did fall flat in a lot of areas. But I will say that I did love seeing America Chavez, and I loved seeing the Illuminati, just because I'm a geek, and that was great. Also, as well, it's embarrassing when a half-hour episode of What If tells a better emotional story about Doctor Strange than any of the Doctor Strange films have to date. Like, that half an hour What If took me on a journey more so than any of the films have so far.
Okay.
So yeah,
Okay.
yeah, I feel like a negative Nancy, but here we are.
Okay. No, well,
but you know what? Like, I get the enjoyment, and sometimes it's like, I'm like, chill out, Ben. You know, come on, enjoy it for
how
what
you
it is.
feel about this film is how I felt about the last episode of Moon Knight. The whole way through.
Really?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
I was disappointed. I was
not into the Power Rangers.
I was so disappointed in that last
giant
episode.
fight.
But we'll get into that a little bit later. Focus, man. I know you've been patient, and I can tell on your face that you got a lot on your mind. So
deep breath.
I'm just going to give you the stage and just let you go ahead and do what you need to do. What you need to say, brother.
Look at those guns.
I thought it was shite. Like, I failed to see it. Listen, I'm just going to give my opinion now, and we're all going to remind ourselves that art is subjective. There is no absolute right or wrong. If people enjoyed it, that is, you know, fantastic. You know, and that's great and all. I fail to see how you, Lael, or anyone would give this a 10, because if you're giving this a 10, that means you're putting it up with every other movie that you regard as a 10. So like, again, maybe we have the conversation, we'll develop it more, and you can kind of outline, you know, the films that you regard as 10 out of 10 that, you know, are the pinnacle of movie making. I just did not see that in this movie. Now, I never ever claimed to be a comic book expert. Typically, I see a film and I'm excited about it, and I want to go back and see what influenced that, and I work backwards like that. For example, Batman Begins. I heard Christopher Nolan based that on Year One. I went straight out. I bought Year One and I read that. I did the same thing with, the Dark Knight Returns. I did the same thing with Arkham Asylum and The Killing Joke, because they were all used as well. And I do the same thing with the Marvel films as well. I did the same thing to educate myself when to watch Moon Knight, so I wasn't going to be lost. So I'm never going to have the knowledge that comic book fans or Lael has. And the way Lael describes it, like, you know, Sam Raimi, his directing style is to look at a comic book and bring that frame onto real life cinematic action. For me, that does not work all the time. And what the MCU does really good is they pick and choose. They didn't give you the Electro costume, they give you the outline of the star. You know, they give you not a direct lift of costumes, they often just like have nods to the costume. But when I think you take direct lifts, it doesn't always work. Now, I'm gonna tell the negative stuff, but first one, I'm gonna go through some positives just so I can keep it balanced. Visually, some of the scenes were outstanding. They were very Inception-like. Inception is one of my favorite films. The kind of scenes where New York was kind of upside down, side to side, and the physics of the worlds weren't working. Love that. The kind of interdimensional, like into the multiverse journey, when they went from, like, when America and Strange were going through the different multiverses. The animation scene, the paint worlds, when his face started, you know, going off in squares that you saw in the trailer. I thought that was visually stunning. I thought the score in parts really, really good. There was a great scene where Wanda is like levitating and there's this strange dark beat playing the background. It just really worked. That's where it ends for me. But like, I thought the script was awful. I thought the cheesy one-liners when a character has been battling with these terrible, terrible demons that look like something out of the early noughties, where the character's clearly under pressure, out of their depth, and then just before they hit the killing stroke, they have time to stop and pause and say, "Go to hell." My skin crawled during it. I thought the fact that the Strange, the moment he realizes Wanda isn't on his side, is because Wanda mentions the name America and go, "Oh wait, you didn't actually tell me that the girl we're trying to look for is called America." She's not stupid. That was awful. I thought that was just dumb. Like, I'm sorry, I thought that was terrible. It's like, she's clever, she's smart. If this is her master plan, she's just going to give it away. She's losing her surprise attack or whatever. I thought, yeah, some of the visuals were terrible. The opening 5 minutes, I think, were one of the worst opening 5 minutes of an MCU I've ever seen. Because I was looking at this going, "Oh, that's all green screen." Whereas, like, I know it's green screen. I know it's comic book, science fiction, call it what you want. It's not reality. But I like to be fooled by cinematography. So when I think of the MCU, the first 5 minutes are so vital because that's what hooks you in. Think of Endgame, Hawkeye's family getting dusted. We were involved right from the start. We were emotional. We felt for him. It hooked us in. It set the tone. This is going to be a dark film. Stuff's going to go down. This was like, oh yeah, they're clearly on a pad and they're jumping to another pad and that's all just green screen. I know it's fake, but so the visuals were poor in parts and stunning in other parts. I agree with Ben. I did not get how she could go for being positive and, you know, solving the problems and, you know, defeating Agatha, and then suddenly, bang, she's evil again, killing everyone, and you know, it's a Kamatage or whatever the name of the place is. So I just did not get that. Now, the motivation that people will do anything for their children and a mother will do anything for her children, and the fact that the Darkhold over, that made perfect sense. But just that drastic, yeah, it just, I don't know. I didn't like that either. I thought the script was poor. I thought there was too many cheesy one-liners. And one of my biggest qualms was the zombie looked like Weekend at Bernie's or that zombie out of Hocus Pocus. I just thought every scene involving that zombie was flat out comedy. People were laughing in the cinemas. I know what it's like in America, but Irish audiences, they won't let you away with that. People were laughing at something they shouldn't be laughing at. It was almost, and I didn't blame them. I thought the Wanda's big the 4 kind of protectors she had, those kind of demons, they were defeated fairly easily as well. So, and one of the worst
What
parts
were they?
is,
Where did they come from? Like,
I
what?
don't know, but one of the worst parts was I waited through all of the credits for the post-credit scene, which wasn't great, to the post-credit scene, which was basically trolling everyone. So it was almost like, we got you to watch this movie, and now we're going to make it wait another 5-10 minutes just to troll you. Sorry, it'd be lucky to get 2 stars out of 10 from me. Anyway, it's just an opinion. None of us are right or wrong here. Art is subjective, each to their own. Maybe if I read the comics, I'd have more appreciation for it, but I just don't think it was delivered correctly. And I'm sure the source material is great, but honestly, this is going in the dud pile for me. It's there. I thought Eternals was a dud. I thought Thor 2 was a dud. I just don't know how it can come out of the same studios that gave you Winter Soldier, Civil War, Infinity War, Endgame, No Way Home, Iron Man. Yeah, I just really hope. I worry about the future of the MCU, to be honest. That's all I'm going to say. Sorry, I'm so negative. I'm so
cool.
sorry. That was so negative.
That's cool. And like I said, I mean, it's okay to have, and all things subjective. Everybody has a difference of opinion. I will address this though. For me, what makes a 10 out of 10 for me is if you're telling a story that relates in a sense to what I've actually read in the pages of a comic book. You know what I mean? If you're giving me, and I think that's basically where me as a comic book fan, and I see these films, look, put it this way. I don't care how perfect you may think, and anybody may think the MCU is. They're allowed to make mistakes. They're allowed to flaw. DC has been, ever since the bullshit that DC has given us the entire time, like literally the bullshit. And I think, and here's the thing, all things subjective. I'm a person that, okay, I like the Dark Knight, but I'm not a fan. I'm not like a hardcore fan of the stories. I'm not a hardcore fan of the Nolan verse, but I appreciate it. I understand that. I'm more of a fan of the Michael Keaton and Ben Affleck version of Batman, because the thing is, I don't need to see a melodramatic, serious version of Batman the whole way through. That was my gripe about Christian Bale's take on Batman. But at the same time, I enjoyed the film. But they're going with it with zero expectations. You know, they're looking at it like, okay, we want to make money over substance. That's the way DC approaches this. With Marvel, I had to look at it and take a back seat and look at it from a totally different perspective. Number one, they did actually go through a pandemic type of situation where a lot of these films were kind of up in the air. They were making Zoom calls the entire time. They didn't know what direction that they were taking. They just actually came off a retreat where they can all join together and have a sense direction. So, okay, cool. I get that aspect of it. When I'm looking at this particular film, I'm not looking at it from a MCU cinematic view. I'm looking at what I would actually expect and what I want to see visually. But at the same time, I bought the passion in Scarlet Witch. I also bought the simple fact that Strange was heartbroken the entire time. And because of that heartbreak, he wore arrogance on his sleeve until he was brought down. The story between him and America Chavez, he became, instead of being selfish, he became selfless. And that kind of helped crack that shell that's been guarding him the entire time. So I bought that. Again, was it a perfect film? No. But it was a good enough film for me. And when I basically say 10 out of 10, I'm grading this on a 10 out of 10 cinematic version of a comic book that I've read. Because here's the thing. A lot of people enjoyed No Way Home. They enjoyed it. They loved the film. But I can tell you that there were 10 things in that film that were completely flawed. Completely flawed. And I couldn't stand it, but I watched it and I enjoyed it, and it became an enjoyable film for me. And I was like, okay, I can get that. I understand that. How the hell do we get a version of Jamie Foxx that was more street smart but lost the level of intelligence that we got
Yeah.
from the other version that we seen. That wasn't explained. It made absolutely zero sense to me. There was a lot of things about that film that were flawed, but I rolled with it. I'm like, you know what? Okay, I'm good. This film, I'm not saying that it was the greatest, but to me, from a comic book aspect of it, that's where I gave it a 10 out of 10 because that's what I wanted to see. Again, all things subjective. Sam Raimi is a storyteller from a totally different view. He's more of a horror, based director. And this is what we got. They kind of let him run free. But the thing is, I bought the madness portion of it, especially with the fight with him in Sinister Strange. I love that scene. I loved it.
Oh, that was like the music thing was just so comic book like.
It was comic book like, and if you know the score, and basically that score that was written, it was a duel between two individuals. And that's how the score was written. That's how Beethoven's score. That was incredible. I loved it. But again, you pick and choose. I'm not saying no. When I put it this way, if I put this film up against any project that Sony has given us, this film will win all the time.
100%. Yeah. Compared to Morbius, it's a masterpiece.
But compared to Morbius, compared to that last version of Venom that we got, this is a masterpiece. I hated both films, both Venom films. I hated both of them. They were terrible to me, literally. But people loved it. All things subjective. Morbius, I didn't even go see. I was like, I'm not going to see it. I'm not going to watch that. I'm not going to watch that shit. And then Sony's giving us a Madam Web. Sony's giving us all these other films that we don't even want. So
El Muerto is coming.
Exactly. Yeah. So when I look at it, again, when I explain 10 out of 10, my 10 out of 10 is basically because I'm looking at it from a comic book perspective and what I want to see and what they're setting up. All they had to say to me was one word, and that was encouraging. Because I know now where they're going and where they have no choice but to go. So again, no one has to really love the film. Not everybody's going to love the film. Still going to be the number one film at the box office. It's still going to make $1 billion. I'm going to call that because people will love it. Some people will love it, some people won't. And even the people who don't love it, they want to actually, or if they don't like the MCU, they want to go see this film to see why everybody else doesn't like it, just so they can talk about it. But you still paid your money to see it. So, I mean, again, all things subjective. Lou, you have no idea what you're getting yourself into. You have to go see it with the subject. And here's the thing. One other thing before I bring you in, Lou. I'm telling y'all out there right now, people who have not seen this film yet, speculation, expectation, you got to wipe the slate clean. Don't go into it with that. Don't go into it based off of expectations because of what you want to see, what you think you should see. You know what I mean? What you believe will happen. Take that all out. And I think that we have to do that with the MCU going forward. We can't speculate anymore because we have zero idea where they're going with these things. We have zero idea how much they're going to change it. With the Illuminati, I appreciate it because I know that in this particular universe, in the 616 universe, where it gives Strange time to actually sit back and, again, remember, he's one of the founding members of the Illuminati. So he can let them know where one made the mistake. This is how they can actually improve. So I think that we're going to get a better iteration of the Illuminati. We just have to wait and see. So again, go into this thing with zero expectation. We got Brendan Rowley here. Thank you for coming on board. Brendan, we're talking about Doctor Strange. And again, we do have a mixed bag of people who didn't like it. We have Ben and we have both Shane, who completely did not like the film.
Miserable Brits.
And then you basically have Loco who hasn't seen it.
He's Irish.
He's Irish.
I'm not Brit. Careful, we're gonna have a problem, Ben.
we got Loco Lou.
You can't fuck that up.
We have Loco Lou who hasn't seen the film yet.
Nope.
But Brendan,
I'm aware of this.
He's aware of everything, so he's okay. Brendan, I want to know, all things subjective, your feelings on this film.
I enjoyed it. I think it was a good movie. I think it has its flaws. I'm not a big Sam Raimi fan at all. To be honest, I think the original Spider-Man 3 movies are mostly shit.
I knew I
but
liked Brendan.
but I did think that this movie was entertaining. I think it didn't deliver on some of the things that we were all kind of expecting. I feel like the actual multiverse and what would and how that would factor into the evolution of the MCU was surprisingly minimal.
Yeah.
In terms of long-term implications for certain things. Obviously, we got those cameos that we know are going to pay off later, but I think it was, like I said, I think it was good. I enjoyed it a lot. And that's a lot coming from me for a Sam Raimi movie, but I do think that there are some flaws there, none of which ruined the movie for me, though. And it definitely felt like, if you're familiar with Doctor Strange, there are a lot of horror elements to those comics, and so it did feel appropriate for the character. Also, I just spent an hour and a half sitting in traffic, so I'm eating some food right in front of you guys. So
Okay.
Slurp it up, slurp it up.
fucking starving.
You done?
Hell no, dude. Are you kidding me?
No,
you think I'm done?
No, I'm talking about, are you done with
Oh.
your review of the film?
Yeah, I mean, I think we're definitely gonna deep dive into it tomorrow.
We'll talk about it tomorrow.
Yeah, I mean, I can completely understand people not liking it, and I can understand people liking it, and everything in between. I think they could have spent. I do think that with Wanda, they could have spent a little bit more time having some more kind of personal scenes with her and Strange that kind of sold the transformation from what we saw at the end of WandaVision a little bit better. For some people, it did seem kind of an abrupt turn, and I think they undersold the corruption of the Darkhold on somebody. And I think if they spent a little bit more time showing that this isn't necessarily Wanda's true nature, this is more desperation to reconnect with those lost kids, and that the Darkhold used that and corrupted it, because that's what the Darkhold does. It corrupts people. And I think if they spent a little bit more time with that, her journey into what she became in this movie would have, I think, hit home a little bit better for some people who have an issue with it.
All right, I get that. Lou, I know you can't really go into detail on it, but tell me what you want to see from a comic book perspective. Again, you hear us talk about it. I do want you to go into it with a very subjective. I mean, you have to go into it your own way.
Well, that's how
your own way, and have an honest opinion. Don't let any of us sway you.
That's how I go into all of these things, baby. That's just me. I like to compartmentalize everything and then make a nice little salad at the end of the day with what I think and what I've seen and what I know. See, and every salad you get is different. You get what I'm saying?
Never had one.
You never had one? Oh, you should try it, man. It's delish.
Never heard of it.
No, but when it comes to comic books, there's different iterations in comic books as well. So it's like you could pick up a book and be like, oh man, this is crap. But then there was one good idea in there, and if they take that idea and put it in a film and then put something else in it, sometimes it turns out for the best, sometimes it don't. For instance, Carnage. Let There Be Carnage. Do I enjoy the movie? I enjoyed it for what it was. It was straight comic book popcorn movie. Did it make sense in the whole cohesiveness of everything? Hell no. Is it my version of Venom and Carnage? Hell no. Did I agree with the whole difference in size? Hell no. So with this, I do with every film. I go in there in a blank slate, knowing what I know, and just, all right, entertain me. And if I'm not entertained by the end of the day, then I feel like I was robbed, and then I'll have something to say. But majority of the time, if I'm entertained and this is something I'm like, okay, I could spot this mistake, spot this mistake, spot this mistake, and this is coming from a fan's point of view and what's being done. Because remember, these directors and these editors are going through multiple takes. And sometimes what they remember that's there wasn't there. And the story they're telling themselves is not what gets put on film until the very end. And sometimes they mess up and miss something. We see it all the time. See it all the time. Sometimes there's somebody's there with their watch hanging out right there behind the blast shield, or there's somebody that hide it under the table and you can see, their head or something like that. Little mistakes there, and everyone makes mistakes. So if you go in there expecting perfect, right, you're gonna be disappointed because there's nothing under the sun that's perfect.
Yeah,
nothing. So I go in there, just like, all right, entertain me. I pay my ticket. Let's see if I got my 2.5 hours or 2 hours, or however long the film is, and eat my popcorn, drink my drink, and I'm good. But from what I did see, as far as like the whole elimination of the Illuminati, which was very simple with just a shield, you know what I mean, and a little bit of chaos magic. The way they were eliminated though was glorious. The way they were taken out was like mwah. Now, I didn't see all of it. I only saw the bits and pieces towards the end with Carter, Reed, Black Bolt. So I seen all of that. That was like wow. As far as what was going on with her powers and stuff, like just the display of her powers was like off chain, because you get to see, exactly how much power she's
how powerful she is. She's OP in the books, as she should have been
Way
on film.
OP.
And we get a chance to see that. And I'm so glad that they're seeing that, because she's been nerfed for how many films now?
A lot of films. And
we
here's
only
the
got a
thing
taste of her ability in Endgame, because to be quite honest, herself, she alone would have fucked Thanos up, period.
Oh yes. Now, with that being said, let's backtrack a little bit and see the character that is Wanda, right? Because I know Ben said that, WandaVision, kind of like sealed the deal and everything like that. And I see what he says, what he means by that, because we got the tell another story. But we're dealing with a broken character who's been broken since conception, from the comics and in film, because she was nerfed in film, and that's a broken character. That character is going to get OP later on. We're going to see how that plays out, and you can see the struggle that she has becoming a villain, going into being a hero, literally causing the destruction of Sokovia, which caused the whole Sokovia incident to begin with, to going into losing Vision and being exiled with Vision before losing Vision completely, to creating her own reality, to realize she basically screwed herself over, right? So she's mind messed up herself on top of messing herself up with the Darkhold at the very end. So you're already dealing with a broken individual who is nuts. Made herself 10 times nuts. And now she's with something that corrupts her even more after she just messed herself up with her own corruption. So remember, power corrupts all, and absolute power corrupts absolutely. And this is what we're seeing here. And I haven't seen the film yet, and I already know that's what it's leading to.
I don't think she was nerfed in the earlier films, though.
I think we just took out Thanos.
I don't think. Well, she was going to. If they didn't rain fire, I don't think she was nerfed. I think they started her at 0. She was coming into her powers and she's gotten stronger with each movie. If you look at her progression, each time she's appeared, she's gotten stronger. I don't think it was an intentional, we're going to nerf her, we're not going to make her as powerful. I think it was, she's a new character when you're coming into Age of Ultron. And you can't just bring her in at 10, because you got nowhere to go after that. Right. And they had long-term plans for her character as well as others. And so there are going to be times where, especially if you look at certain characters and what they accomplish later on in these movies in like later in sequels, they're like, wait a minute. I mean, if they were as powerful in this movie as they were in their first movie, that first movie would have been 5 minutes long, right? It's the same thing. I think Wanda had to go on that journey and develop and come into those powers. She didn't understand her powers until very, very recently. She really, until the show, until WandaVision, she didn't really fully understand her potential and her powers.
But even with that though, she didn't understand. Even though she didn't understand her powers, her true form wasn't manifested until she met Agatha.
Yeah,
that wasn't manifested until then. And you got to keep in mind that, okay, yes, we can sit up here and say, all right, as fans, and when I look at it, okay, yes, there was progression of the character itself. But can we say that they even knew where to take Wanda? Because it was just like, and I'm glad they're showing this, because here's the thing. If they would have made the same mistake, if they would have made the same effing mistakes that the X-Men movies have made with Rogue the entire time, I would have been pissed.
Oh, yeah.
Like literally. And they didn't make that mistake. They did basically give us the OP version of Wanda that we needed to see, because basically she is a very fractured character. And this is what we got. She's going to be fractured going forward. And here's the thing. At the end of this show, even at the end of WandaVision, her story, or that portion of her story, wasn't ended. It hadn't ended, because the thing is, she got the Darkhold. She was still basically, because the thing is, even when we think that she was on a hero's journey, technically she wasn't, because she scattered with no explanation to everybody whose life she affected in that town.
It was the way it was framed, though. Like, it was the way they shot it, and the things people were saying around her and stuff. Like, it very much felt like a heroic moment, that last half hour of that last episode of WandaVision. So for me, my whole beef with the leap in character doesn't necessarily all fall on this film. I think the responsibility falls a little bit on WandaVision, and that I wasn't entirely happy with that ending. I kind of wanted WandaVision to end with her as a villain, like
but it did. You know, and it actually did, though. It did exactly what it needed to do, because of the simple fact that, number one, she has the Darkhold, a book that she should not have, a book that she knows and was told it's leading her down a certain direction. She still has that book. We got a chance to see how she manipulated reality, where you see one version of her, but the other version is actually studying the book. And what Kevin Feige did say is, at the end of WandaVision, she had already, that version that we actually saw, that version that we saw in the cabin, that wasn't her playing around. That was her going through what they call like the dream, whatever. That was the start of where it was exactly. So she was going through that dreamscape. So we did get a chance to see the villain. They were setting us up, and that was one of the reasons why Doctor Strange wasn't introduced and we didn't see a cameo in that film, because they knew it was leading into the Multiverse of Madness, is where it was actually going. So they did set it up in a sense. It's just that, again, but I see what you're saying. I
just would have liked it to have felt darker and a little bit more sordid. Like, I would have liked her to have slooshed away and have, you know, it felt very glossy. Like, you know, it was lovely environment. And I know that she was painting that picture, but like, we didn't necessarily know she was painting that picture at the time. So the way it was all shot and everything almost felt like a happy ending, you know, when really what I really wanted from WandaVision was a very dark ending, with her kind of going down that dark path.
Think of it like this. It was a dark ending. It just wasn't a visual dark ending, because think about it like this. Every individual in that town was conscious of what was going on, but had no physical control to do anything about it for miles. These are individuals just on repeat. You get what I'm saying? In the mindscape of Wanda, that is a nightmare of nightmares. It's just not a visual nightmare. And that's what makes her the monster, the one that everybody.
What would have been nice is maybe like 10 minutes in this film just dedicated to, maybe like she could have been watching the news, and there could have been some of those residents, you know, talking about her like she's a monster, and like, you know, just adding that context a little bit. Like, you know, if you I know the problem is with the MCU now, we're getting to a point where, like, for people that dip in and out, you can't do that anymore. So, like, because if you dipped in and out and hadn't watched WandaVision and watched this, you'd be like
Yeah.
you know,
But
It's
I'm
like if
worried
there's a
about
trilogy, if there's a
Yes, right.
trilogy and it's like, oh, do we really have to watch the first two? No, you'll catch up. But this film's like, no, you need to see the other 30. But
This is
just,
the first time. Yeah, this is the first time where if you didn't watch a Disney Plus show, you were missing a key component of a theatrical release, and that's going to be a challenge moving forward because this
challenge
has
for my
shown
missus.
that Disney Plus content is just as integral as theatrical releases. So now,
Yeah, do you know
they have to do that successfully, and they have to make the films in a way that if somebody doesn't see a Disney Plus show, they can still kind of understand it. And I think that's where some people were kind of missing, that there wasn't in the film itself, there wasn't enough connective tissue early on to connect it to Wanda's kind of journey through the show and at the end. And that made it difficult for people to make that leap. That's why it felt so abrupt, I think, to a lot of people at the beginning of this movie.
Real quick, and then I'm gonna let you go, Focus. I want to address something real quick. Shinoshita, I bless Skinoshita, 1991. Thank you for being here. He said, "America at the end of all of a sudden, her powers do. She at the end of all of the sudden knowing her power due to a strange pep talk made no sense to me either. She had no control or embrace of her learning how to control it." Here's his thing.
That's a staple of comics, though. It's always like an emotional situation or an inspirational thing.
But this is what I want to say, though. Imagine in entire time, the entire film, though, you have to also frame it this way. She had been told so many times that she has no use of her power. She doesn't know how to use it, and that someone else could. So that lowered the amount of confidence that she had in herself in general. Then to be told by Strange, this version of Strange, that no, you can do this. Every point of where we needed to get to, you took us there exactly where we needed to be. That instilled the level of confidence that she needed to know how to somehow and mind you, she didn't know completely how to use her ability. She didn't. It was just sort of like honed a bit by memory and certain things. She's still learning. We got a chance to see that she's still learning, even when she was, being taught at the Comitage. And that's just more so not how to use her power to be more disciplined.
Yeah. And you got to remember that, again, it's a staple of the genre. It's a staple of comics.
Yeah.
All of the, mutants and X-Men, their powers usually manifest during a moment of heightened emotion, fear, things like that. That's when they have to learn how to control it in those heightened elements of inspiration, of fear, of things like that. When your emotions and your adrenaline is pumping, you look at, again, I'm not a Sam Raimi guy, but a lot of people think that Spider-Man 2 is like the best comic book movie ever. I wholeheartedly disagree. But for people who do, remember, Tobey Maguire as Spider-Man starts losing his powers for a while. He has a crisis of confidence. Then in an emotional state, he starts to believe again that he was destined to be Spider-Man, and his powers come back. They manifest. That happens time and time again in comics, in TV shows, in movies. So it's not like completely yes, it is a little bit abrupt, but that's just kind of, you can't get away from that in the genre.
Yeah, I would say this though. America Chavez getting the pep talk is kind of like the epiphany moment. Everyone has that epiphany moment, like, oh snap! The light bulb just goes off. You know what I mean? So if you've been doing things on reflexes and you just realize, wait, I've been doing it the whole time. Now I just need to just do it, and that's that. You know what I mean? So that explains itself. It's just you want to be told to do. You want to be told this is how she got it. No, we know. We know how when she I got the swing of things. It's already happening.
When the pep talk comes from a rubber-faced zombie talking out the side of his mouth, it just falls really, really flat. Trust me.
That's Sam Raimi.
Yeah, but I just want to make a point there. Lael said, look, obviously I was talking about Spider-Man No Way Home and how great I thought it was and everything, and he said there's errors on it. Yeah, he's right. You could probably pick out errors of any movie. Loco Lou said, things are missed in editing, there's errors and stuff like that. Ben was saying, like, he wanted 10 minutes, like, to more make the transition from the end of WandaVision to her killing everyone and Commentage a bit more flow a bit better, or give him a bit more information. That's fine now. Personally, I think if all those things were fixed, still would make a difference, because the film did not entertain me as other those said films that I did entertain that I mentioned, right? So like, and I'm sure if I go read the comics, I'll be like, all right, it's a shame, because like I've never really read a comic and not appreciate the source material, like, no matter how old they are. And I've gone back to some of those Iron Man ones from like the 50s and 60s or wherever. I'm not sure if it's that long ago, but they're really, really old. Like the logic for me, like I teach science and chemistry for a living. So when I watch a film like this, I'm not like going, oh, that would never happen in real life, or because it's not like. But there has to be that kind of like some sort of continuity and some sort of like entertainment factor, which for me to give it the seal of approval. Like, for example, if you look at Infinity War and you're like, all right, so Thanos, you reckon there's too many people in the universe, and you reckon your solution is to kill half of them. Why don't you just double the amount of space and resources, Thanos, and you can be the hero? Like, you have the gauntlet, you can do everything you want. But if I looked at everything like that, I'd never watch a film. You have to suspend some sort of reality. Like, but there's for this, I just didn't find it entertaining.
Quick one as well, guys. Right? Did I miss something? There was no reference to Wong training up Abomination in some kind of secret facility. Like, did they?
Yeah, there's none at all.
There wasn't, was there? I was like, yeah.
It was.
Find out, I'm sure.
There were surprises like that. Like, yeah, there was no reference at all to Abomination. I thought we'd maybe see him a little bit in this, or that some explanation as to why he was doing that. But also, and again, I'm sure this will be a topic we'll definitely deep dive into tomorrow night. But the No Way Home plot literally had nothing to do with this movie. In all the trailers, we thought like, okay, when I did what I had to do.
Wasn't this due before originally? I think
it was, and then they did some reshoots and stuff when stuff was shuffled around, and so we thought that, and the way it was marketed is like, when they were saying Strange, when Mordo was like, "You're the biggest threat to the multiverse," and Strange like, "I did what I had to do," coming right after Spider-Man. Everybody thought that it was going to be something related to that. It had zero to do with it. Like, other than them briefly mentioning Spider-Man in the cafe, which again was also confusing, just because at the end of Spider-Man, it made it seem like Doctor Strange was going to forget Peter as well. Like,
but he still knows Spider-Man.
He did. He forgot.
He does just remember everything as Spider-Man only now.
Right. So is that thing? Does he remember that he did the spell, and he remembers that he used to know who Spider-Man was, but he doesn't know now?
No, I don't think he. Yeah, I think
he doesn't know who Peter Parker is, but he knows there's a Spider-Man.
So he knows that he did the spell for Spider-Man, and that he no longer remembers who his secret identity is.
He didn't necessarily say that, but I think it's implied that, because what he basically said was
he did the spell.
But he said he did the spell, but the spell was that everybody would forget who Spider-Man was. You would still know Spider-Man, but everybody who knows who Spider-Man will forget who he really is. So,
right, no, but that's what I mean. So, like, he remembers that he did the spell. So he knows that he used to know who Peter was.
Did he say it in this film? That's what I'm trying to think about.
Yeah, he did. He said with Wong, he said that he did the spell for Spider-Man.
But sure, he probably, like, I'd imagine he's smart enough to go, if I did that, I had to do it. That's the way it had to be, like, which is a bit messed up, because he, do you know what I mean? Like, it's like
it's that ego element,
giving away the time stone. He knew he had to do it, like.
Yeah. Wait. What he said to Strange in No Way Home was, I want people to forget that I'm Spider-Man. That I'm Spider-Man, meaning forget Peter Parker.
Yeah, that's what he did.
Spider-Man. This is why Ned and Zendaya don't remember him.
But they know who Spider-Man is.
But they know who Spider-Man is.
He said that he wanted the world, everybody, not to forget that he was Spider-Man. He wanted the world to forget Peter Parker.
Yeah.
That's
Spider-Man.
That's no. He didn't even say he wanted the world to forget Peter Parker was Spider-Man. He said he wanted the world to forget Peter Parker. Like that was the whole thing. So like nobody remembers, nobody knows who Peter Parker is. He's got a completely clean slate.
I just thought it was to forget Tom Holland.
I don't know. Real quick, because I mean, I don't want to. Here's the thing, and I don't want to basically go down this rabbit hole with this movie because we're going to talk about it more in detail tomorrow. But we actually got everybody's opinion, and which, like I said, everybody's opinion is valued. That's why I like having these discussions, because not everybody's going to be on the same page. And also it allows you to look at it differently, look at the flaws, but look at some parts of the film that might have been good. Here's the thing, though: if anything, this film teaches everybody one important factor. Okay, one important factor is temper your expectations. Don't go into this movie or any movie going forward with any expectations or even speculations. Just go and expect the tie string as soon as the film is over and move on to the next. Temper those expectations, because you're not going to always get what you want. And Kevin Feige right now is playing a chess game where he's just like, you know what? I'm not going to give you what you want. You think you're going to get it, but you're not. So I just think this wait and see. But I will say one thing too. Might be subjective, but I want that Captain Marvel in 616.
Oh,
sorry,
yeah.
that's just me.
Bill?
I'll just move on from it. I want that Captain Marvel in 616. That's just my personal opinion.
Leave
it at that.
I'm not going to argue with that. I think one of the things we all have to remember about this, though, now is there are, tons and tons of comic book titles out there, right?
Mm-hmm.
We don't read all of them. Now, Lael and I in particular, we read more than most. But some people don't read Doctor Strange books. Some people don't read Daredevil books. They're fucking crazy if they don't read Daredevil books, but, that's fine. Some people don't read Batman or Spider-Man or whatever. So it's like with all of these characters coming out now, you're not meant to like every single one of these things. Like if Doctor Strange is not in your wheelhouse and they make a movie that's faithful to Doctor Strange, there's a good chance you're not going to like it. So, it's okay if we don't like everything as much as something else. I think sometimes we go in with these expectations of Marvel hitting a home run every single time. And for one person, a home run is a swing and a miss for somebody else. So, I thought the Eternals was not what I wanted it to be, but I still found value and entertainment in it. And I know other people who absolutely hated it. So like Lael said, it is all subjective. But
and the point is not to change each other's opinions. Like the point of this conversation is not to change anyone's opinion. How many times have you seen in a Facebook group where someone comes out of, I'm just going to use the Batman as an example, and they come out of the Batman and then they put on the Facebook group, they say, just out of the Batman, it is the best film, Batman film ever. Robert Pattinson is the best Batman. And then you have a bunch of threads going, no way, it's Keaton. And then someone else says, no way, it's Bale. No way, it's Batfleck. And it's like, this is going nowhere. Like the whole point is it's an opinion. It's subjective.
Yeah.
It's those debates. You're never going to I'm never going to convince Lael that this film isn't good. Yeah. And he's never going to convince me that it is good. We just have a completely different opinion.
These conversations are about opening each other's eyes to different perspectives. And I'll say, you know what? I disagree, but I never thought about it that way. And I can kind of see where you're coming from there. And ultimately, everybody who disagrees with me is wrong, but that's okay, because that's everybody's right to be wrong sometimes. But yeah,
so says Button.
Having these conversations is fun, right? If it gets to the point where having the conversation is not fun, you got to stop having the conversation, right? Mm-hmm. If you can have it with your boys, you can have it with your buddies, and bullshit about stuff, and bust balls and think, I agree with that, I disagree with this, I can see where you're coming from on that. And it's fun, then keep doing it. But if you're not having fun, and that's what I've done on like in Facebook threads too. It's like if it gets to the point where like people are just sniping at each other and it's not fun, now it's just antagonistic, just pull yourself out of that, because you're ruining your own hobby.
Yeah, true.
That's true.
So, you know what? With that being said, I'm not even going to go into Moon Knight because I'm just going to wait till tomorrow.
That's another can.
I feel like I want to binge them all today.
I'm gonna go into it tomorrow because, like I said, I have my mixed feelings.
Get those figures up.
Yes.
Yeah, I have mixed feelings on the episode. There were some highs, but there were a lot of lows for me. And again, there was missed opportunities. to really focus in on a lot of these characters. So I'll temper that discussion, and what we'll do is we'll spend this last 30-20 minutes or 30 minutes. We're actually going to dive in to the figure releases and stuff that actually happened last week, because again, I definitely, I mean, I got my feelings on that. Tomorrow, if you don't haven't already, that tomorrow's comic book talk with friends, we're going to actually dive into, we're going to have a more in-depth conversation about Doctor Strange and Multiverse of Madness, and we're going to also talk about the last episode and our thoughts on Moon Knight in a whole, from as far as the series itself. So tune in for that tomorrow night to have more in-depth discussion.
And pull lists, because
and pull lists,
definitely. People should be reading a lot of
stuff basically did transpire.
Did you? How was your reading last night, Leo?
I didn't get a chance to.
You silly son of a bitch.
I didn't get a chance to because there was a lot going on last night, and from what we've seen, and then on top of that, like Toya got a little sick, so I had to kind of wait and kind of look after her a little bit. But she's better. But she was just like, she had the chills and she was kind of cold, and she really had. I was like, okay, I had to make sure she was fine. Loco, I know you got to bounce out, man. But thank you for basically being here, brother. What you got going on, man? What you got coming up?
Leave us.
I got work and some more work, and I'm gonna go get a haircut and eat dinner. But and get ready for work because I got to.
I knew I should have gotten a haircut today. Damn it.
Yeah.
listen. Everybody can be the bald and the beautiful, baby, and I got two baldies over here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
how dare you?
How dare I? Let me stop. Anyway, I love y'all guys. Happy Mother's Day to all your moms and all your wives that have children and everyone else who have kids. And if you're a surrogate mother to someone else, happy Mother's Day to you too, because every mother counts.
Yes,
every mother counts.
Definitely,
okay?
Man.
And guys, don't fight, play nice, okay? Disagree and agree and all that, okay?
Oh, we
listen.
We good at that.
All right. A little bit of stop. Nah, but
yeah, we good at that, man. We got this. We do.
No. But with all these figures that are coming out, all these announcements and drops, buy everything. If it's troopers, buy two. If it's droids, buy two. Specifically if they're army building types. All right, buy two of everything. Okay, don't listen to me. Just listen to me.
Everybody, if you haven't already, man, shout out to Local Lou for being here. Continue to follow him if you haven't already, man. Great guy, good dude. So can't wait to see you, bro. Remember, we got Figure Flex next week. I'm going to be putting out a video tomorrow on what the winnings are, because I actually opened the box and I know what's in the box. I know what's in the box. I now know what's in the box, and I'm like, whoa, okay, I see what he's doing. So yeah,
okay.
Life-size Gwyneth Paltrow sculpt.
It's funny. But yeah,
General
we'll definitely
Grievous.
see that. But again, man, thanks for being here, Loco, man. We'll see you next time,
right.
bro.
Thanks, guys. Love, peace, and
take it easy.
All right, peace out, brother. Peace out, brother. Check you out later, man. Real quick though, before we move on to talking about these figures, I do want to actually announce and make sure that everybody and you understand that right now we do have a contest, or not even a contest, a giveaway going on the whole month of May. It's the 4th of May giveaway. 1/4 scale, quarter scale Grogu and Mandalorian set, provided by my bro Marcos over there at Collector's Zone Cantina. All you have to basically do is subscribe to the 1/6 Scale Man YouTube channel, become a member, go over to Collector's Zone. You want to actually become a member of a group. Tell us love stories, your favorite character, why that character relates to you, and you have your chance of winning this quarter scale figure. It is an amazing figure. I did unbox it. It's decent. Again, that's my journey. We'll talk about this some other time. But anyway, you have a chance to basically win this figure. It's incredible. And on top of that, you don't have to pay the amount of money that I paid for mine, which was $680. You get this thing for free. You get this beast for free by just subscribing to the channel, becoming a member. So you definitely want to do that. If you haven't already, it's something out there. It's for all of y'all. We're doing this for y'all for the month of May, Star Wars month. So let's definitely dive into that. Here's what I do want to talk about. Because we had a lot of things going on. This was Star Wars and Marvel's week. But Star Wars had a lot going on, and the speculations for where we're going. Now I know this is a talk that Shane's going to be like, we have to. Shane is going to be the wild card again. He's going to play the wild card role, so we'll see where he basically falls. But first, I want to talk about some of the releases that we got, and then we'll jump into some of the actual figures. the release that we actually got, or one of the releases that we actually got last week, that was surprising, was this, definitely the Bodega Miles, that we got. This did drop. And if you knew what Hot Toys was doing a couple weeks ago, they did put out a slate of figures that we were going to see, and that would actually see a release. And I think they're carrying on with that by giving us this version. Focus, I'm gonna start with you first, man. You saw this release. What are your thoughts about it, man? Is this something that you're thinking about picking up? Do you have? I think you have a Spider-Man collection, don't you?
Oh, I've 4.
Yeah,
and
4.
I have the battling version on the way. And
Yes.
I'm waiting to see if they drop Andrew and Toby, which they look by all means that they're going to.
Yeah.
So like I just can't get this. Like it's out of all the this is from the PS4 game, I believe, isn't
Yes.
it?
The PS5.
PS5, sorry. Like all these figures look great. This would be actually one of my lesser out of all the ones from the PS5 game, all the ones from the game I've seen. The vast majority of them look good. This would be one of the ones I would definitely gravitate towards less. But I think the Bodega Cat is pretty much the best accessory you can get. So no, I'm not picking this up. I'm not picking this up because I've 2 upgraded suits. I've got the Homecoming Deluxe. I've got the Iron Spider. That's 4. The Batman version's weighing 5. And then if I go and get the Andrew and Toby, you got to get the integrated suit. That's 8.
Yeah.
How many does one need? That's like I'm already breaking rules there doing that. So no, I won't be getting this. No.
Okay. Man.
How many does one need?
Hey Ben, what you think about that piece, bro?
That's a nice display.
Yeah, it's cool. Like it's I haven't played the game, so I've got no connection to the where this originally.
Are you a gamer, or you just haven't picked it up?
I haven't got a console. I'm not a gamer. No. And if I was, I game like a 12-year-old. Like it would be like Mario and Sonic. Like
you haven't met many 12-year-old gamers these days, have you? No, they're just harassing adults on like Call of Duty and stuff now.
Yeah, I can't be dealing with any of that. I also have a baby, so it's just not ever going to happen. But yeah, so I've got no sort of reason to pick this up, unfortunately. And for me, the Miles that I'm most excited for is that Into the Spider-Verse one. If I'm going to get a Miles, that is the Miles that I most certainly want. So, but I think one of the positives to take from this release is that they are crossing off those figures pretty quickly from that release schedule photo. So
they are.
That's quite exciting. They're picking up that momentum. But yeah, cool figure. Just no interest for me, unfortunately. I don't get it. I don't even know what the cat thing is. The Bodega Cat. I don't even know what the story is.
It's part of one of the side missions in the game.
Okay.
Yeah, it's definitely a side mission. As part of the game itself, but it's interesting piece. I mean, I love Miles. I'll probably put it this way. I'll get this not high up on my list, but I'm going to get it eventually. Yeah, Brendan, bro, what's your thoughts on it, man?
Mine will be here tomorrow.
Yours is arriving.
Yep, I'm very excited for it. Just because I'm a massive Spider-Man fan,
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, as evidenced by this bad boy that I just picked up, it's amazing. But yeah, I'm happy to get this. I can definitely see people, passing on this one. It's not like an iconic one. It's not a must-have for everybody. For me, that side mission was actually kind of enjoyable in the game.
Yeah.
And I have an attachment to the figures from these 2 games, the 2018 original one, and then the Miles game that they put out with the launch of the PS5, because I think that if you actually go through and play those games, I think those 2 are among the better Spider-Man stories that we've gotten, right up there with some of the movies. And especially the 2018 one. The Miles one was a little bit on the shorter side, so I don't think it quite hits that level, but it was still a really great Spider-Man story. And so that kind of gives me a connection to the suits that they're going to be putting out from this game. So, and I also like something that just looks different. It's not the same exact Spider-Man that you'll get, and that's one of the things that's great about that line. It's coming from the video games and the movies, is that every Spider-Man looks different. So you don't ever really feel like you're repeating character after character in the same way that you would with others, because there's so many different styles of suits, so many different color schemes and accessories, and the Spider-Man releases have had really great accessories. You get two of the cat. So you get one that's like in like a crouch position, another one that's in like a more action, like running position. So it's a novelty kind of thing. I know it's not for everybody, but it's Spider-Man and it's for me. So I'm looking forward to getting it tomorrow.
Yeah, definitely, man. Again, it's going to be a piece that I'll get, but with so many other things that have actually taken up precedence, that's on that list that I do have, and that is coming. This slightly took a back seat, but not saying that I'm not going to get it. I know I'm going to have it.
It is ridiculous that this one came out before Spider-Verse, though.
Yeah,
that is absurd, because this one
it's been
actually
a long time coming.
This one wasn't scheduled until July to September of this year.
Yeah,
Miles from Spider-Verse was supposed to be 2021, so it's ridiculous. And we already have Gwen, so like to put this one out before Spider-Verse again is annoying. I'm still going to take this one. I still love it, but yeah, it is. I mean, you can't predict it. Once again, it's just Hot Toys. You can't predict
what they're going to do. It's just what they're doing. Now we're diving into Star Wars really quick here. And I know we're gonna talk about that Anakin release a little bit later. Shane, I know we talked about this piece. It actually talk about and I think it's been talked about now for a couple of weeks, so we already know where this is headed. But Shane, now that we know that this is out, I mean, not out, but we know that we did get a reveal, and now it's up for pre-order, and we know now that it's die cast. Where are you sitting with this piece now? Are you still sitting on the fence where you don't think you'll have it in your collection, or is it something that you think that you're going to just wait and see if we get the golden version of this figure? Are you going to wait for that one, or are you going to pick this one up? What do you think?
My opinions haven't changed.
Haven't changed?
No. I think this looks great. I think all 5 of the announcements this week look great. You know where I stand with worn battle damage figures. I'm a sucker for that.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to have more than one C-3PO in my collection. I'm not going to have more than one R2-D2 in my collection because, like a lot of collectors, I am limited by space and money. So I am going to wait for the C-3PO, the golden version, and the R2-D2 from the original trilogy. And if it never comes out, then I won't have it in my collection. I'll be comfortable with it. Now, there is a caveat to that, is right now there's no incentive to pre-order, so just going to wait and see when this drops, which will be 18 months to 2 years, and sometime between now and then they may just announce a 40th anniversary Return of the Jedi version or something from the original trilogy. Yeah. I think this looks fantastic, but no, my thoughts and opinions are the exact same as I put on my pre-order preview video for this during the week, and the same way we discussed last week. It looks great, and I'm happy for people who are Attack of the Clones fans. And you know what? Maybe close to the release date, and they haven't dropped the golden version, which I do think is coming if they have this mold and they've gone through the effort of this.
Oh, it's definitely, yeah. It's definitely.
So I heard someone say during the week that if you don't pick these 2 up, then you're an idiot. I completely disagree with that. You're just not a prequels collector.
Whoever said that's an idiot. Like, you buy what you want for your collection. Like, nobody else can judge that.
Yeah, I heard someone say that, and I was like, did I just hear that? So it's
because there's going to be a lot of people that don't get this, and that's completely fine.
Yeah, like this looks fantastic. Like, and some people grew up in the. Some people were like 10 years of age and this came out. Obviously, I was older, but there's nothing I don't like about this. Only if I'm only going to have one, if I only want to have one version, it'll be the original trilogy one. So
gotcha. Nah, that's completely understandable, man. Like I said, I mean, this isn't going to speak because there's a lot of people that are still holding out for it. And now that you know that, we're going to see it, it makes perfectly good sense. I do have appreciation for Battle Damage. I also have appreciation for how artistically creative this piece is, and I love it. So I will be getting it. Not pre-ordering it, but I'll get it once it's dropped. It's released. Ben, what do you think about this piece, man?
Hey, you know what arrived today? My sideshow R2.
I was thinking the R2 wasn't there last week.
Yeah. So
they look
here
great.
I am with my boys, and I'm
Mhm.
fine. I'm fine with that. Look, this is stunning. This is beautiful. Like the level of detail, the battle damage, everything. Yeah, like the movie holds a lot of memories for myself. But yeah, I'm very similar to Shane in the sense that, for me, it's having that original trilogy, kind of that more iconic gold, look to 3PO. So I'm probably going to settle on my sideshow pieces for now, and if or when Hot Toys decide to kind of release that more iconic look, we might get it for Return of the Jedi anniversary or Revenge of the Sith maybe. But so I'm gonna then consider things. And also it's a die-cast piece. It's a little bit more expensive. If you are picking up 3PO and R2, that's some dollar being dropped right there. So I've got my eyes on some other releases from this wave, and I've got my sideshow pieces. Don't judge me.
Gotcha. No problem, man. Before we go
I'm
to
an
you,
idiot.
Brendan. Before we go to you, Brendan, man, we had a super chat earlier. I forgot to mention it was Primox. He said it sounds like Figure Focus loved it. He was talking about the movie. That's funny.
Number one fan.
Definitely, man. That's funny. Brendan, what you think, man? I mean, I already know. We talked about this more so in detail.
We've definitely talked about this.
It. Yeah.
I really dig it, and this thing, I grew up with the original trilogy, but I like this more than the straight up classic golds. At least in figure form, it's more interesting to me. The paintwork on this thing looks stunning. The attention to detail, that weathering, it just has more visual interest to me. Yes, it's not the iconic look, but I think it's the more interesting look for me. If they will make a go like the original trilogy one, they're going to. They've got the mold. It's just different paintwork. It's easy money for them. They'll maybe wait until the Return of the Jedi anniversary, which means we'll get it like 2 years after the actual anniversary. But they'll do that. Anybody who loves this and wants to get it. Anybody who wants to wait and go for a classic look, do it. Like whatever you want for your collection,
whatever your preferences are.
Nobody else is going to be in your house looking at it. It's going to be you looking at it and enjoying it. So you get what you enjoy. Me, I really dig this, and that's coming from somebody who I can appreciate certain really cool elements of the prequel trilogy, but I also look at it and see so many flaws in it. They're flawed films. I mean, everything is to a certain extent. So this isn't like a fanboy about, Attack of the Clones is the greatest. It's not the greatest movie. Believe me. But I like this design. So yeah, I'm gonna pick him up. I'll get him an R2. It's a little bit more expensive than I was expecting. I'll admit that. But it's not. It didn't cross that threshold of, well, that's too much and I'm not going to get it. But again, that's subjective. That's for everybody to determine for themselves, for their own finances, for their own collection, what they're looking for. I'm super excited that we got that sand base because I don't have enough of those. So I wanted to get some more, but it is what I think it's really cool. I like that they did this. It just shows they're not doing the exact same thing over and over again. They're trying to give us some different stuff. And I can appreciate that. And I want them to do more different off the beaten path stuff, even if 90% of them aren't something that I want in my collection, because that means that other 10% I'll be really excited about when I get it. And other people will get the stuff that they're really excited about. So yeah, I love it.
Yeah, definitely, man. So Yeah, like I said, I'll have this piece once it's released. Just not really, jump into pre-order or anything at this moment. I'll definitely have it. But again, there was a lot of presence when it came to Star Wars. Last week, a lot of what we actually got. We got this R2, of course. Again, this is the one that a lot of us actually thought this would be a 2-pack. But again, it came as a separate option. I love the weathering. I love the detail on this. People who didn't actually get a chance to get R2 the first time, that this isn't the die-cast version from what we see so far. Just the dome itself has a lot of intricate pieces. Ben, I'm with you, bro. I actually have the sideshow version of it. It's right back there, sitting on the display here with the sideshow Hoth, the sideshow Hoth Luke. So I have that, the snow speeder Luke, and I have the OG Ben, the Hot Toys Ben and the Hot Toys Yoda. So I have that back there on my display, and it does what it does. The only thing is, you could tell that it's really light. I don't use all the accessories on it at all, because I'm like, I just don't even want to go down there.
You can't hold it upside down because everything
exactly. So you got to be. So I mean, this one is an interesting piece because, like I said, we know it's coming from Hot Toys, which could possibly be a superior piece. I just want it basically because of the sound, also the LEDs, some of the accessories. So I will have it to actually complement the 3PO. We're knowing now that 3PO head is going to be a side piece, like a Grogu piece with all these figures. So
so many 3PO heads on the market now.
Right. Now, how do you feel, like, since you already have your R2 from Sideshow, is this something that you would still pick up, or is this something you'll pass on because you already have one as a staple in your collection?
Like I am happy, but these are like weeks old. Well, R2's 1 day old for me, and 3PO I've only had for a couple of months. So like I do feel set, but by the time these come out, as Shane said, might be 2 years, then we might be having a very different conversation, because by then I might have an itch to kind of upgrade and or I might be in a kind of position where I can consider kind of splashing a bit of cash and
but in the meantime, you have something in your collection that you can enjoy for at least
it's a placeholder. They're placeholders, like for me, I honestly feel like nothing represents Star Wars more so than 3PO and R2. Like I honestly feel like iconography wise, they're instantly recognizable as Star Wars. So I knew I needed a Star Wars shelf, and I'm kind of building my collection around 3PO and R2. For me now, my goal is to try and get some more original trilogy kind of characters to start standing around them. But so I am kind of waiting for those re-releases. The difference with this R2 to 3PO is that 3PO obviously is it is episode 2, and you can't necessarily kind of say it's from one of the other films. Whereas this R2 is a lot more flexible in terms of like, right, if this R2 pretty much fits into any film. I'd say. Like,
if you have one R2, he can fit into pretty much any movie.
Everything, because
nobody's going to be like, oh wait, that piece of dirt is on this part. That's from episode 3, not episode 2. Like, you know what I mean? Like, if you don't have tons of accessories and stuff out, if it's just R2 right there, you can't tell what movie he's from. So you're good. And a year and a half, 2 years from now, if you decide, I really like what Hot Toys just put out, I want to get those, then you can do that. And you had something to enjoy in the interim, and then you can try and flip the ones that you have, or maybe you want more than one R2 and 3PO. So
we always evolve as collectors, don't we? And I'm at a fairly young stage of my kind of collecting world. I'm only a couple of years in, and so I'm still at that beginning kind of evolution. Like if it's Pokemon, I am still a Bulbasaur, but in 2 years time I might be at kind of Venusaur level, and I might be ready to have a Hot Toys R2 instead of a Sideshow one.
Definitely, man. Shane,
that's a weird analogy.
Shane, do you think that this would wind up in your collection and you would keep it clean and maybe rinse off the dirt and put it in your Detolf?
If I close my eyes, it's him talking.
It is. Y'all got everybody out there, y'all. have to hear behind the scenes. If you don't see his face and you just hear, if you don't see his face and you just hear his voice in the chat, that shit is it's so funny. But is this?
Basically, I really like this too, and I think Ben hit the nail on the head. That this can slot in anywhere. If I had to pull the trigger on one of them, this one would be the first one, because you could just hold out then for if they do a C3PO. I still do think I'm gonna just same strategy, just not pre-order and just see what it looks like when it comes out.
Once it drops,
hopefully something drops in the meantime, because I really, really like this. I actually get like R2 better than C3PO, just like the colors and as Brandon said, like, you know, dirt is, you know, it probably is specific to Attack of the Clones, but no one's gonna know. And it comes with everything. Like, I could sell you on this the same way I'd sell the DX19. I mean, it has the remote, you have the light up functions, you have the sounds, it literally has everything but the kitchen sink, all those little pop out parts. And even the parts that I actually don't like, or the thrusters I didn't like that R2 flew, you can just tuck them away and never happened. Like, you know what I mean? So I really, really like this. I think it's great. I'm still not going to pre-order it. I'm just going to wait for the original trilogy. Hopefully.
I think it's safe to say that none of us right now are pre-ordering. I mean, honestly,
other than statues, no. Like statues with like a limited, like with an edition size, then it's like, okay, that's going to sell out, or you know. Then that's one thing, but otherwise, hot toys, no. Scales, like from third parties, if it's like they're only going to make 300 of these, and I know that one's going to sell out, then I'll pre-order that, right? But beyond that, no. I don't feel the need to do any of it right now.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, here's the thing: is there's no interest in pre-ordering. I mean, because we all know there's no perks for doing it right now. Once they release it, you'll still be able to get your hands on it. It's not a limited quantity unless they decide to do something totally different.
Exactly.
So
I've already got 30 figures paid off. Like, I don't need to have more.
And that's what
like,
I'm
let
saying.
me get some of those in, and then maybe I'll start.
Exactly. Give me the ones that I want first. Give me the ones that I've been asking for first. So once I clear those out, then maybe we can. Even then, I'm still not going to pre-order. I'll just wait. Because I'm not going to go down that road. Next up, again, we have shiny. We have the Clone Trooper. People who basically enjoyed the clones from Attack of the Clones itself. Again, this is going to be a definite army builder for a lot of people. People who love these clones, who want these clones. There's going to be a lot of army building. I can definitely tell. Shane, as far as the clones, what do you think? Do you think you'll actually have a few of these in your collection?
No, this figure does absolutely nothing for me, and I am a trooper collector, but just doesn't do anything for me. No, I won't pick this one up. I think there's so many more other troopers out that are a lot more interesting to me. People are going to army build this. I won't be picking up one even. Got you.
Ben. What do you think about this, bro?
I'm in a state of shock right now. I look, like, for me with troopers, I always love the less is more approach. So I always love that original clean look for both stormtroopers, first order troopers, and clone troopers. So this is a really exciting release for me. I actually put a poll out because I got like a display kind of in my mind for Cad Bane, with either some battle droids behind him or clone troopers behind him, and the clone troopers are like holding him up or whatever. And obviously it was a poll on my page, so I had about 2 people vote, including my mum. But they went for battle droids. But I still tempted to look. Put it this way: if they release Kit Fisto, I'm getting 2 of these to stand behind Kit Fisto.
Yeah.
Yes,
man, definitely. That's a must. That's definitely a must. So I'm excited about it. Brendan, what's up, bro?
Oh yeah, dude. I love it. I'll probably grab 2. I don't usually double dip on clone troopers and stuff. Like I've got 1 501st, I've got 1 Coruscant Guard, 1 Rex, one Cody. So I mean, I think the only one that I have two of is I have two Death Troopers, but one is from Rogue One and one's from Mando. I'll probably get two of these just so I can have one with the Phase 1 and one with the Phase 2 helmet. I like the design. It's, if I had to choose like that or like a 501st or that or like a Cody or a Rex, obviously I'll go with one of those. But yeah, I dig it. I think that, they're going to be putting out a lot of figures from this movie. So I think they'll go nicely in a movie display for Attack of the Clones. But I can completely understand, people skipping this in favor of ones that kind of pop in your display a little bit more, have a little bit more color, have, something else going for them, like a 501st. So, but I didn't think that they were going to do this one, even though it makes sense because it's like the simplest, cleanest, easiest one for them probably to do. But yeah, I dig it. It doesn't like blow me away, but I enjoy it. I'll be happy to have it.
Yeah, definitely. Man. So yeah, I mean, like I said, I stick with the rule of two for clones in general. So me and myself for this, I'll probably have just two of them. Moving on, we do actually have also the battle droid, which I know a lot of people were interested in. This is something, and it's unique because again, we haven't gotten a battle droid from Hot Toys before, and to finally actually have one and to be able to have it in your collection. Ben, is this something that you'll actually move forward with?
Yeah. I'm really excited. Like potentially this actually might be my most exciting kind of release of this whole wave, because like we've obviously only had the sideshow battle droids, and me coming into the game late, those are now on the second-hand market, and you're looking at like 300 quid for a battle droid. It's like I'm not paying £300 for something that's like that skinny. So I'm really excited to be able to get these at market value and get them for what they should be, and because of that be able to get a couple and be able to have that sort of display option that I want. So I'm really excited. I mean, I'm a baby in comparison to you old farts.
Yeah, man. Now we're just trying to hurt feelings.
And we got through the whole Wanda conversation so well.
I'm only playing with you. No, what I'm trying to say is that I was like 11, 12 or whatever when episode 1 came out. I know I love Jar Jar Binks and fart jokes, even now sometimes. So battle droids is holds a lot of nostalgia for me. So I'm really excited to have this in my collection. Yeah, definitely, 2 please.
Man. Definitely, man. This is going to be incredible. I can't wait for it. Shane, I'm gonna move on to you for a different reason, because I'm not looking at the battle droid right now. What I'm looking at is Mace Windu. So this is what I'm looking at right now. I'm looking at Mace Windu, Shane.
That ass.
Are you gonna actually have, if they make the announcement for a Mace, would you have a Mace Windu in your collection?
I still don't think I would.
You still don't think you would?
I literally only have one prequels figure in my collection, and it's because it's Commander Cody, and it's a trooper. And I just think if I get Mace, then I'll be like, oh god, I need to pair him with something, and then I'll be trying to get like a Qui-Gon and a Darth Vader and a Django, and then the whole thing just unravels, and I'll be missing out on other original trilogy figures, or maybe other DC or Marvel figures that I much prefer to get. And that's what I'm saying before the drop. Right? You can come back and ask me about it when it.
I was going to say,
drop
once
again,
you
like,
see it, is it going to be like, oh my god, that looks too good?
Yeah, I know it's yeah.
The possibility exists.
Yeah,
I wouldn't rule it out.
Yeah, got you, man. Again, Brendan, bro, we talk about these things, these pieces that are. You said you're gonna get 3 of them.
I get 3 of the battle droid. Yeah, one's just not enough. Like you got to
Yeah.
have them, I want to have them in
30.
kind of like that formation, that triangle formation. You get two in the back, one in the front there.
Yeah.
You got to have, it's just, and for the price, I think they're priced very reasonably. So,
Yeah.
so yeah, I mean, and especially if you've got like points to burn, whether it's with Sideshow or
Mhm.
Collector's Own or like
Mhm.
an HK reseller, and you've got points to drop it down even more, you can end up probably getting two for like the price, or three
Mhm.
for like the price of maybe one or two premium
Mhm.
figures. So
Exactly.
yeah, I'm looking forward to that release. I definitely dig it. The paintwork on it just looks good. The weathering. I know that the old Sideshow ones have been reviewed fairly well. I know a couple of people who have them. Ryan's got one. The people seem to love those. I think they're hard to come by now.
Yeah.
So value wise, there's no reason to spend that kind of money on them. I do think the paintwork looks better from what I've seen, but I've never held one in hand of the Sideshow
Mhm.
one. The
Mhm.
paintwork, I think, most of the time is going to be better with Hot Toys. But
Yeah.
so yeah, I definitely plan to get the 3, and then obviously when they announce Mace Windu, that'll be a must for me. That,
Yeah.
to be honest, that might be one that I'd be willing to pre-order, not because I feel like I need to secure mine, more because there are certain characters that we've been clamoring for or
Yeah.
that we never thought we'd get.
Yeah.
And I'd like to try and voice that to Hot Toys. They don't know this really,
This
because that's
is
the
one that
thing.
I want. Yeah.
That's the thing that I'm wondering how it's going to disrupt this hobby and production runs to a certain extent, because we're all so fed up of the lack of communication from Hot Toys, and and the delays, to the point where we've racked up and paid off so many pre-orders, and we're
Yeah.
just sitting here waiting. So now we're all just like, I'm not pre-ordering anything anymore. And which is a total valid response. That's where I am right now. But then there's a situation where pre-order numbers can dictate how much they think a character is in demand and how much they're
Mhm.
going to produce of that run, or if they're going to just cancel it, or
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
so if they don't get those numbers, then that could show, then they kind of think, oh well, we were right in taking forever to make this because nobody really wanted it. So that's
Yeah.
why, like, I jumped on the Cyborg pre-order immediately, because I was like, I wanted to make my voice heard, in that they know people really did want this. It wasn't like a thing where you put it out and then nobody pre-orders it. So for
Yeah.
Mace Windu, because I think it's an important character, and I think we don't get enough people of color released from a lot of these films, I do want to kind of voice that. So yeah, this is one that I think I will actually pre-order once they make the reveal.
Yeah. Definitely, man. I'm going to get it. I'm going to get a couple of them because again, it's the battle droids. I've been waiting for the battle droids for the longest time, even when they kind of scaled down and showed us or a preview of it, and it was one of those things where, again, we didn't think that we were going to see a release, and they surprised us with them, and we finally got them. So I'm happy about it. This Mace is a no-brainer. I will pre-order and pay this thing off. Once it's released, I'll pay it off. I'll just pay it completely off, just so it's there to let them know that there is a demand for it, and we have to vote with our dollars. And I'm telling you, I mean, to have this figure, something that we've been asking for the longest time, just makes so much sense. So I will actually have it. Now, as far as the last figure that we actually saw, as a reveal. Now, mind you, this is the last that we saw for May the 4th. There's still more. They did make an announcement that there's still more coming. There's still more figures from the prequel trilogy that we're going to see, which means, in my opinion, we're going to see a Padme. We have to basically see a Padme. And we could even possibly see a Obi-Wan and an Anakin from Attack of the Clones. So don't be surprised about that. Which does
Come on,
let
Hot
me know
Toys,
that,
like, don't
let's
honey
do
dick
it.
me. Don't honey dick me. Come on.
Straight up, let's do it, man. Like, and I think that basically we're gonna also even see Django released this month. So I definitely believe we will. But this clone pilot, one that wasn't on my radar, one that I didn't think that we were going to see, but it is a unique looking figure. Not going to pre-order it again. We already talking about it, but I think I will get it because it's unique, and I like the simple fact that we do get 2 helmets with this. And yeah, I really do like this figure. Shane, Wild card Shane, let me guess what you're gonna say.
Go for it.
No, I don't. I don't think I'm going to get this because
What the
it's
fuck
gonna-
accent is
I'm
that?
just going to pass, and it's clean. It's not.
It's a joke. It's like an inside joke, bro.
I was
It's a-
gonna say if that's how you really hear an Irish brogue, then
No,
you're gonna
it's
have
a joke.
words.
It's a
Irish
joke.
Michael Jackson.
It's a joke. That's
Okay,
where
all
it
right.
comes from.
All
That's where
right,
it
just
comes
making
from.
sure. Just
But
making
no,
sure.
honestly, what do you think about this piece, bro?
I'm getting this. I am getting this. Yeah. I like I said, I am a trooper collector. This appeals to me more than just the white shiny. I know it's not a shiny because it is wet weathered. This just looks unique. It looks unique. A few reasons. It's not just the splash of color, or the fact that you've two helmets and one is from one. This is actually this helmet. He looks like I heard on another stream that he looks like he's slipping on a banana skin, and now I know what they mean. But
Whoa.
this helmet, this is actually from Clone Wars, the animated series, isn't it?
Yeah.
I really like this. It's so unique looking.
That's the first time they've ever done that.
Yeah, because they have a mix and match. Because then the other helmets then from episode 2, yeah, what I like about it is not just that it's weathered. It's not just that it has a unique design and the splashy yellow. I love this. It must be if he's a pilot, maybe it's is it like an altitude thing, a breathing apparatus, the way it plugs into the monitor in the front or on the back. I think that's a lovely touch. I think that's deadly. So I am going to be picking this one up. So that'll be my second prequels figure that I have. That and Commander Cody. They fit in because they're troopers. Again, I'm not ruling out completely going down the prequels line, but it's just you got to be selective. Money. It's space and money. You know, original trilogy, Rogue One, Mandalorian, I do have to be selective. You know, so. Yeah, definitely. I really like this. Really like this. I didn't expect it, but I was like, yeah, this is deadly. Yeah, cool.
Yeah. So you're into it for like the uniqueness.
To select everything.
It's a trooper and it's unique, and I really like this breathing apparatus and the way on one of the helmets it fits in the front, and then the other one I think you can fit in the back or something like that. I've seen some pipes going around the back or something, but yeah, I think this is cool.
Yeah, I think
it comes with the binoculars as well, which are a nice accessory.
Yeah, it does. It's like that. Definitely a good piece. Ben. Is this something you see roll?
No, not this one. Like as I said, I
Why not?
I always prefer that stripped back look, and this has a lot going on, and it just like unless I was really army building, like literally having like 5 clones, and then one of them was this one. But because I'm probably going to get 2 clones max, this would stand out like a sore thumb. And weathering is beautiful, really nice touch, kind of integrating some of the animated stuff into the kind of Clone War stuff. So it's a nice release, but it's a no deal from me.
Yeah, I feel you, man. We got 6 scale Padawan. He said 1 6-figure focus and an Irishman without a Qui-Gon. He ain't getting a window before Liam.
This is pressure.
The pressure, bro. The pressure. And then last but not least, as far as releases, we did actually get the release of Anakin, and surprisingly enough, this is what's crazy, Brendan, bro. I got a notification, from Sideshow that my figure is going to ship on Tuesday. Isn't that crazy?
Do they charge you for the shipping yet?
The shipping's there, like everything is there. It just put it this way, they're going to take the final payment and everything is expected to come out on Tuesday.
Okay, and then they'll ship it 3 weeks after that.
And then they'll basically ship it 3 weeks after that.
That's what happens. They charge you for they charge you
Mhm.
for the shipping, and then when it doesn't ship for like 3 weeks, they blame the ports.
Yep.
Yep.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's so I'm 100%. I'm getting this one. But I'm slow playing this one. I'm gonna wait, and I'll probably get it like domestically. I'll get it through like Underground or something.
Yeah.
Just because I have the dark side Anakin. So this is it's the same head sculpt, different hair and different clothing. I really do like it. I think it'll look great in the display. But I also have another round of Maji cases coming soon, so
Yeah.
I'm okay with waiting until those are in, and then having a little bit more space, and then kind of finishing off that Clone Wars display. So I think it looks great. I'm very happy with the way it came out. I think it's crazy that we never got, and I don't think ever will get the Clone Wars Obi-Wan. But is what it is. But yeah, this is a really good figure. Anybody who missed out on the Episode 3 Anakin, either the standard or the dark side Toy Fair exclusive, this one is going to be a welcome addition to people's collections. So I will get it. Just wasn't one that I needed to rush on. But and when I get it, I'll get just the standard.
Yeah, I'm not getting
as cool as the Stap looks, and I like the fact that it does light up. Even though Hot Toys batteries last about an eighth of a second. We'll give it a sixth of a second. But yeah, it's just I don't. It takes up so much space. That thing is huge, and it's just not like an iconic vehicle that I have to have.
Yeah.
So I'll pick up Anakin, pass on the Stap. But yeah, I think it's a really good release. The sculpt looks great. The weathering on the armor looks great. It is interesting, and I saw it in the promo pics, and then I saw when Justin put up his review too, that it's a different shade for the lightsaber. It's like this it's much like paler and almost like a pale blue green kind of color. And it's different than like the other releases, like the Revenge of the Sith one or any other blue lightsaber that we've seen to date. So that is a little confusing. So I might end up, when I get it, using a lightsaber from a different figure release because I think I like it better with the more saturated blue.
Yeah. Do you think it because maybe the photos that were taken of the figure is why we sort of see it that way?
For the lightsaber?
Yeah. You think it might be like just the color saturation?
No, so there are two different photos actually that make the lightsaber look completely different, like different shades of blue actually, that made me think that, okay, part of this is Photoshop, because obviously those aren't actually lit up. But then when Justin did his review and he held them side by side, he had the one that this release comes. So like right there, that looks different to me. And that versus that one looks paler, greenish, actually probably more accurate to the release versus the other ones that you showed a minute ago. Those look like a deeper, more saturated blue. But he held this saber that comes with this release and then a blue one from another release. I think it was the Revenge of the Sith one, and held them side by side in his review video. And you could definitely see that they were two completely different shades.
Gotcha.
So yeah, for whatever reason, they're different. I don't remember it being that shade that this comes with in the Clone Wars movie or animated series. But again, it's not a big deal because I've got so many damn lightsabers from other releases that it's an easy swap. But it was something that I just struck me as a little curious, but it is what it is.
Definitely. Ben, would you get this Anakin or pass?
I'm not a fan of it.
Gotcha.
And I really get why people would love this, but for me, I always feel like with Clone Wars, some of the stuff from that does not, for some reason, for me, does not translate well when they kind of put it in a kind of live action, environment or version or whatever. So, like, and this is that for me. Like, it just doesn't feel right about the way the armor kind of sits and how the costume looks with the colors and everything like that. Like, it just feels. Something feels off for me with this. I'm really kind of digging what Sideshow are potentially going to be doing with the kind of the animated style. Yeah. Like for me, this I want to see this, but just with that animated style.
Yeah, got you.
Yeah, and I know that last week you touched upon that like prototype for like Ahsoka, but like Snip's version of Ahsoka.
Yeah,
You know, I'd rather see that and this in that style. So it's just not for me. But you know, as Brennan said, like people who missed out on that, you know, Last Anakin,
yeah,
there's no better opportunity to kind of pick one up and get that version, because quite frankly, when will we get that again, that opportunity? It might be
true,
quite a while now, because
Yeah,
it might be
true.
what, Revenge of the Sith, so what, we're talking sort of 4 years away,
Yeah,
potentially,
yeah,
by the time it
definitely,
gets to us. So yeah, this is a good opportunity to get an Annie in your collection for sure.
definitely, man, definitely. No, Shane, I already know, but
Yeah, I already know.
it's just
Yeah, I already
interesting to
know.
hear the conversation. I just like to hear your reasons, your reasoning, and I know, like I said, you're very subjective about these things, which you should be. I mean, because like I said, I mean, you got to pick and choose, you know, your battles or where you want to be, especially if you have a vision. That's the thing, is you if you have a vision of where you see your collection, that a lot of these things aren't going to fit in. For me, it's just the simple fact that I'm a Star Wars fan. I'm such a Star Wars fan. I can always pick and choose when it comes to Marvel. Things will always just go past me. Um, which next week we're going to have a discussion on where these films take us. Like, well, does the film and how bad the film is, does it sway your, you know, your collection and on what you see and the vision you have? If the film doesn't live up to your standards, is it one of those things where you might be like, yeah, I'm just not going to get it? So we'll talk about that definitely.
if that
Uh,
factored in, I sure as shit wouldn't own Venom.
straight up, man. But do you think
Very true.
this, what do you think about this piece though, Shane?
Yeah, you are right. You know me now. Like, you know, I don't collect Clone Wars, and I do agree with Ben. Like, if I did collect Clone Wars, I'd want what I see on the screen, and like this is this hybrid that they do. You know, they did it with Ahsoka. They done it with Rex, the hybrid where they definitely did it with Rex anyway. They kind of blend Tamora Morrison's likeness, and then it's kind of halfway between the animated and reality. I think that's very strange instead of just doing what Sideshow has done. But let's face it, those Sideshow figures, they can end up looking like, feeling like puppets with all the
Yeah.
moving limbs. I hope they don't, for the people that are excited about them. But for this, I think this looks really good. Like, I really like the actual color combinations on the outfit. Do you know, it kind of has like a wine and dark navy. I like the way they've included the poncho and the strap as well. It's
Wine?
nice,
Did you
like,
just call it wine?
is it like wine or kind of like a teal, or is it like, it's like a
Leia,
like
where did
burgundy.
you find this guy? This
Burgundy.
sophisticated man that
Burgundy.
calls things wine. That is
Burgundy?
Well,
Burgundy.
hey,
Excellent.
I mean,
Moses red
there's
wine.
like $3 bottles of wine out there that aren't exactly sophisticated. So just because you said wine doesn't, you know.
Yeah, definitely not. But yeah, I think actually this looks really good. I could see why people who are big into the Clone Wars would get excited about it. I just always thought it was strange the way they didn't go animated or didn't just go reality. I do like the way they included the staff as well, and the way the staff is not the same color as it is in the films. It's kind of more of a blue here, isn't it, as opposed to that kind of sandy color, like so. And you know, it's a nice. It's a vehicle that's not too big. You know, you could pop this on a shelf or something like that. Like, yeah, I'm actually staring at the back pod next to me here, and I'm just like, I keep getting my attention, like waiting for that DX19 to come in. But yeah, I think this looks really good. I'm not going to pick it up, but yeah, I can see why people who like the Clone Wars would be very excited about it.
Yeah,
that's what it's about too. Is if something, even if something is not for you, you can appreciate the artistry in it, and that it can fit really well in somebody else's collection. So you're not mad about it being released. Like, you know, it's just because.
And if someone
not
gifted me that, I'm not going to turn it down. Like, I will happily have that in my collection.
And and somebody else could be super excited about that, and you're not going to be like, "Oh, damn it, they put that out," which means I'm not getting the thing that I want. It's like that's not how it works. It's not like, oh, they made this, that means they're not making that. It just means that some people are going to get the thing that they really want, and you don't have to like it, but you can appreciate the artistry and be happy for them.
Yeah, definitely.
Absolutely.
That's just that's how it is.
You can't always get what you want, man.
You can't, definitely, man. You can't always get what you want. You can't always expect other people to like what you like, bro. Like, plain and simple. Like, it is. You. Everybody has. That's the art of collecting, is that we all have a difference of opinion. But at the same time, we can enjoy each other's display. We can look and see how everything is. Unfortunately, isn't as clean as folks' display right now. It's never. I mean, that just pops. Like, it just pops. And you bring the attention to the figures the way you do. I mean, it's again, it's just and is it Ben, is your displays looking, is there something that you did differently, bro? Is it just the lights extra bright back there, bro?
I've moved my Rangers into
Okay.
this.
Okay.
And I've
Okay.
Kick-Ass is new, and I got R2 that's new. So yeah, there's been a couple of new acquisitions.
Okay, because it is bright back there. You're glowing. You got that Last Dragon glow going on back there, bro. So
I've won some Mochi
Maybe it's
cases,
just his
and I've got
personality.
no idea what to do with them or where I'm going to put them. But I've got
It's a
two Mochi
first
cases
world
coming.
problem you have there, Ben.
I know.
Do you know what you do? You buy 6 more.
They definitely buy 6 more, man.
He's not wrong.
So but before we close out real quick here, because like I said, we got to get on with our days. Mother's Day and everything's here. I got to make some dinner for the missus, because right now reservations everywhere are out. Ain't that a damn shame? Like, reservations are gone.
Take
but
away.
Take away. I'll create the mood. It's more intimate anyway. Plus, her Mother's Day is going to be celebrated this month extremely well on the trip that we're actually going. So that's going to be enjoyable. My pocket is on lean, but still, it is what it is. Question, and everybody just keep it minimal, but it is what it is. I'm going to ask you first, Focus. Do you think with Hot Toys at the moment and with collecting, do you think that we're seeing evolution in a way that, do you think you're seeing evolution in a way that it fits your idea of how collecting should be or where it should be going? Or is it one of those things that you see the evolution, but not where it's complementary to where you want your collection to be? Like, meaning that, it's not fitting the scheme of what you want and how you see pieces that you have, pieces that will be companion pieces to what you have, based off of like the whole in arts, fiasco a few months back. Do you think that Hot Toys now is going to take a totally different direction when it comes to these releases, when it comes to like these release dates? Do you think there'll be an evolution in that, or do you think it just gets harder for the collector right now? What do you think?
I honestly think the delays, and this is a very unpopular opinion, for me, the delays kind of suited me down to the ground, because I got a lot of stuff paid off. You know what I mean? I got a lot of stuff paid off on those payment plans.
Yeah.
Like sometimes, like, I went into Sideshow and I was like, all right, I got 1 more payment on this, got 2 on this. I'm just going to pay them off now and just not have to worry about them.
Yeah.
So it kind of frees me up if something else drops. In terms of like what they're doing at the moment, this year has been fantastic for me, because they went back and they did the DX19 in proper scale. So I'm getting 2 of my favorite characters, getting 2 of them.
Yeah.
After selling the bad version of it, which I knew was a gamble, but the in-art Joker's coming along, super.
Yeah.
With the delays allowed me to pay things off, which is great. The No Way Home figures they've announced look fantastic. Yeah, but they're still releasing a ton of stuff that I have no interest at, but it seems to be keeping other people happy. So the only thing they need to do is maintain a schedule properly.
Yeah.
Like, just keep, if it's a year, fine. If it's 18 months, fine. But the date you set, try to maintain that. And I know that is very difficult to imagine with what's happening over there at the moment and the way things are. But I feel like this is what I'm saying is absolutely nothing new. But I know I tend to look on the bright side. I'm a patient person by nature anyway. And it's like, all right, so it's going to be delayed for another 3 months. Grant, I'm not going to cancel because I've already waited a year and a half. Like, there's this like stupid joke. It's like, oh, did you hear the man who he swam from Ireland 3/4 of the way to America, but he got tired, so he swam back. Like, canceling your pre-order when you've waited a year and a half, and then it's like it's going to be delayed another three months. I'm going to cancel it. You've done all the hard work. Have a bit more patience. Like, unless you've got an angle. Okay, I'm going to cancel this. because they've delayed the pre-order window, I keep my NRD and I'll go get it cheaper from a Hong Kong reseller. I've done that, but that makes sense. So yeah, I'm happy enough with things are going, and I tend to look on the bright side when it comes to delays. And like, all right, just don't be pre-ordering, just cancel stuff off, resist that boredom. You don't need to pick something up. You're just bored. So no, I think it's all right. Okay. Oh, Jesus, like that's yeah. I'm not sure does anyone even get that reference. There's like you know what's going on, Ben. The reference.
Is this like a lad's getaway that you're doing or something?
No, it's the whole thing is that like there's the two teams in our the two Scottish football teams, Celtic and Rangers. And it tends to be, a lot of the time, it tends to be that Irish and Catholics would follow Celtic, and then Protestants and English people would follow Rangers. Like, so yeah, I don't follow football, so I just steer my clear out of that, like, but so yeah, it's that's pretty much where I'm at with that. They've released a lot of things. I've very got lucky that I actually do have an interest in things they've released, and I've taken advantage of the delays by getting stuff paid off.
Yeah, definitely, man. And that's the most important thing. I mean, that's the way. See, my strategy has been so far is that there's certain figures that I have with Sideshow that may not be high up on my interest, but what I'll do is I'll have them there, ready to pay off whenever they're ready to come. But all the stuff that I have on order that I'm still paying off monthly, I'll satisfy those first because they take up importance. And I know that, as of right now, there's only 2 figures that I have left to pay off from a certain Hong Kong company, and then I'm done with them. I don't have to worry about that anymore. So that's how I kind of like strategize and plan and my things out, and then going forward, I don't have to worry about pre-ordering because I have companies like Underground where I can just say, look, add this to my list, and when I'm ready to pay it off, boom, it's right there.
Ray takes care of you. Good man.
It takes exactly because because he knows I'm good for it. So that's a good thing there. So you got to, it is. I think with the evolution, I mean, with everything that's going on right now with Hot Toys, it does give us space to breathe and say, okay, I can take care of this and take care of that. Certain figures I want to see, I'll be able to get. So that's not a bad thing. Ben, where are you sitting with this, man? Do you think is this like with the lull and everything? Is that helping you out?
I'm a lot less level-headed than Shane, and I am really impatient. So, like, for me, it is the biggest frustration, especially as a new collector, because you kind of you want it, you want it now, and you want it in your collection because you've got your vision, and it is frustrating the wait time. So for me, it's like I'd rather not even know about something. Until closer to the time. Like, just don't even tell us, don't even show us. Try and keep it a secret for as long as possible, and then show us a picture and say, hey, this is out in 3 months or something, like, and you can imagine the buzz and the kind of urgency that would create in us collectors. And the problem is, because of the way it's gone, it's created this culture, certainly amongst us on streams and stuff, that we're all not pre-ordering now. And so when I started, I was pre-ordering because I just thought that's what you do, and then obviously through meeting you guys and learning and stuff, and it's not like I've just, they've said it, so I'm doing it. It's been through me learning and doing research that I've realized there isn't that incentive to pre-order. So I've actually cancelled some pre-orders. Because I'm just like, I'll just decide in 2 years. I'll just see where I'm at in a year and a half or whatever when it finally comes out. And the biggest frustration for me with the way the market is at the moment is finishing like teams and collections. Like, if you're gonna do King Shark from Suicide Squad, amazing, amazing. But give us the squad, or at least give us that last team. The final team. Like it's. I hate this idea of kind of they give you
pick and choose.
They give you something to start and then they don't finish. Like, there's nothing worse than not finishing.
Yeah, I got you, man. I definitely understand that. That is.
I'm sorry. I tried to hold it on to that one, but
I was actually fine, and then you started laughing, Brendan. I was like, "He's
yeah.
there, Ben has just done it again."
Grow up.
Swear to God, man, motherfuckers with Irish blood, bro. I swear it just must be one of those things where they just
Just talking about.
I mean, I
figures,
don't
man.
disagree with him, but
Exactly.
And what about the figures?
Oh,
My wife can vouch, like if you need it.
okay. All right.
Oh God.
Okay.
I think it was the eyebrows that just a little.
It's like,
Best of luck with that
No,
one.
but all jokes aside, it is very frustrating, and give me my bloody Suicide Squad.
Yeah, no, I get it, because now you're forced to get that King Shark, and if you want to finish the squad, you got to get them from like these third-party marketers, because
I'm
they have
almost
them out there.
considering cancelling King Shark and just using, just ordering something from that same website, something else, because I don't even know if we're ever going to get a Ratcatcher 2.
no.
Yeah.
Well,
Or
here's
if
the
we're
thing.
ever
Hot
gonna
Toys
get a
is not.
Harley.
Hot Toys is not going to come even close to finishing that line. To be honest, I don't think
Yeah.
they're really going to make anything else from that movie. Okay.
No, they won't.
Yeah.
So, but you got to judge for yourself. Yeah, it would be nice to have the complete line. That's out of the question. You'll be able to get a good chunk of it between the King Shark and then like so toys like Bloodsport.
I've got Polka Dot
some
Man
other-
on order. I've got
Don't
Polka
forget
Dot
the
Man paid
Peacemaker.
off.
You can still get the
And-
Peacemaker if you want to do
yeah.
Hot Toys.
So what you have to, what you
Yeah,
have
right.
to, yeah, but there are actually some good third party John Cena sculpts out there that you could
Yeah.
then swap in.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
you have to look at it as like, would you enjoy looking at King Shark in your collection every day anyway? Or would you only look at it and be pissed off that you don't have everybody else around him? That should dictate whether or not you
Okay, that's
actually
true.
get
That's
the
another.
figure. If you're like, I just love King Shark, I love him in the books, I love him in the movie, I want to have him in my collection, then you go for it. But if it's going to just drive you nuts, that like, for
Yeah.
example, I am annoyed that they didn't make Baze Malbus like they showed.
Mhm.
I'm annoyed
Yeah.
that we never got a Cassian Andor, but I am still thrilled to have my Rogue One collection. So it doesn't ruin that for me. So you have to decide which is more important to you as a collector, having King Shark that you can enjoy, or not having everybody else around him that's going to drive you nuts. And then you make your purchase decision based on that. But yeah, there's not a snowball's chance in hell of them doing more with the sideshow. It's just with the Suicide Squad, it's not going to happen. And that sucks. I agree. But Hot Toys has never really been great with finishing lines, although they are giving us, practically every Mandalorian character under the sun, except Grief Karga, and but I agree with what both of you guys have said. Ben, absolutely, like, especially when you're new to the game, you haven't been collecting for that long, so you've been experiencing just crazy long waits, like for the majority of your collecting kind of career, because that's just the way it is. And so it sucks when you get into something and you're new into a hobby and you're all excited about it, but then you realize that all the stuff that got you excited, you got to wait another year or two before you can actually enjoy. And
Exactly.
that absolutely is a frustration that a lot of people are feeling. And but I also, Shane, exactly like what you said, is that the delays gave people a chance to one, really make sure that you're still excited about something, to really make sure that you still want something that you were excited about a year ago, and it's like, did that wane at all, or you still want to have it in your collection? You have more time to pay things off over time. So if people take advantage of that, some people don't, and if you take advantage of that, if you have, you're doing like a payment plan with another company, like an HK reseller that uses partially, so you can make 12 months of payments and knock it off. Cool. Sometimes if there's a really expensive piece from Sideshow, maybe you pre-ordered it day one, but they don't start the payments for 12 months because it's supposed to come out in 16 months, and they only start the payments in the last 4 months. And then people get hit with a bunch all at once. in like one kind of chunk, and then they're, you know, financially it's a problem. So a little tip for people who do have stuff pre-ordered with Sideshow, for example, you can just like put the down payment down and then not do a payment plan. It's not going to come out for like a year and a half, 2 years. You can go in and you can buy a gift card on their website, and then you just go into your order, and then you can just apply gift card amount to the total, and you basically create your own payment plan. And so you just do like 20 or 30 or $50 a month, and you just do it, and you don't have to wait until they initiate the payment plan, 4 months before it comes out. So that way you can still lock yours in, but have it paid off way in advance. So things like that definitely help when you kind of learn the ins and outs of how to kind of budget for different releases, prioritize certain things. And like you had mentioned, the delay, try and hit the window that you set. If it's going to be 18 months or 24 months, that's fine. If you actually are getting better at hitting those windows, which Hot Toys historically has not been. The thing that I think they're missing the boat on is, even if you are going to miss those windows, because when it comes to Hot Toys, the only information that anybody really has is if Sideshow's website updates and says, oh, this has been moved from January to March to like July to September, right? But it's just it's randomly put up on the website. You don't know. Not to mention it's Sideshow's time windows. Those aren't always or rarely in line with what Hot Toys is actually going to be doing. So it just circles back to the communication. Like, look, if it's going to be delayed 6 months, okay, tell us. Go on social media and say, hey, we're still working on production for this figure. We're fine-tuning the head sculpt. We're dealing with some of the diorama bases or whatever. It's taking a little bit longer. This is going to be pushed back 6 months. If they did that, there would be a lot more understanding from people. And I think people would feel that the evolution of what Hot Toys is doing is in line with what they're trying to do as collectors. Because that's what I get from statue companies, right? Yeah. Pure Arts, Prime One, Queen Studios, XM, they all have, social media channels, Facebook groups where they actually give you updates. They do Q&As, they go on streams, they answer people's questions, they give you an update as to where something is. Like Pure Arts actually has like a page on their website where you can go, and every project they've got going, it says, it has like pre-production, production, packaging, shipping to like the retailers, then like final shipping, and it checks off where each piece that they're working on is in that process. Stuff like that, that transparency is what I think we're missing from the 6 scale side of collecting that you get from the statue side. And that's why, while I'm still a diehard, Hot Toys collector, my excitement as a collector right now is way more skewed to the statue pieces that I have coming, because I have more of an expectation as to when those are actually going to be delivered. And I'm getting updates about those pieces from those manufacturers, from those retailers, whether it's, Pure Arts directly, whether it's Collector Zone and Marcos, stuff like that, that you just don't get with Hot Toys. And that, combined with the delays that we've all experienced, like you said, Ben, it builds a level of frustration to then where you almost, it's like, well, it's about damn time when they release something and you're not exactly as excited about the release as you are, well, finally they did it, and you're still kind of irritated about it,
You're like, thanks, I'll take it.
Thanks, I should have had that a year ago. What the hell? Like, you know what I mean? And it shouldn't be like that. But I feel like their lack of business sense, of marketing sense on that side is what makes it that kind of frustration that we're all kind of dealing with. And I think that's something that needs to change. And the only other thing, Lael, as far as the evolution of what Hot Toys is doing, and does that line up with like me as a collector? I'd say, as much as I'm loving a lot of the pieces they're putting out, in a way, I think it's kind of diverging, because I want more classic comic inspired pieces. Now I get for them, probably they're thinking the money is where the big marketing dollars and machine is behind film and television properties, because they don't have to sell those as much because people are hyped for a movie or hyped for a TV show. So there's a built-in excitement level for the product that then they're making that ties in with that, right? But at the same time, I want more classic Daredevil. I want more classic Iron Man. I want comic-inspired things that I'm, again, getting from the statue side. Where they actually do a collaboration with Lee Bermejo or Alex Ross or, Jorge Jimenez, right? I'm getting statue pieces that all of those guys, like, their art was used in collaboration with the manufacturers to make those. I would love it if Hot Toys collaborated with Alex Ross,
like that.
a whole line of like Kingdom Come DC or Avengers, something like that.
Can you imagine?
Yeah, well, but that's
Alex Ross's timeless covers. Imagine if they just did a 1/6 scale range of that. Oh my gosh!
Yeah, you mean like
incredible?
Yeah, like exactly.
He's flexing. He's flexing.
That's it. Well, it's kind of hard not to. It's just what happens. But yeah, if they did more artist collaborations, if they did more things with the original IPs, the source materials, and not everything being tied to a new movie or video game, that would be in line with more of what I want. I still want the movie pieces. I still want the video game pieces. But I want stuff that brings me back to growing up and reading these books and watching, these characters evolve. Stuff that, again, statue companies are doing, that Hot Toys dabbles with here and there, like the classic design Iron Man, but then they teased War Machine and then never followed through with that. And I don't think they're going to do that. And I don't think they're going to do any other classic ones. I think they're just going to stick to film and television. And third-party 6-scale companies and statue companies are giving us the stuff that Hot Toys isn't.
Yeah, definitely, man. So, yeah, I mean, I agree with what everybody's saying right now. There's some pros and cons to this expectation. So, it is something that, eventually, Hot Toys is going to have to wrestle a lot, but I think that they do understand that. Hopefully they do. And hopefully, but again, I do also agree with the simple fact that if it's something that we don't like, vote with your dollars. Just don't do it. Don't get it. You know what I mean? Or if it's something that you aspire more, if you want more of, we just need to really talk more about it. We need to be more vocal about it, because again, if a lot of us are vocal, if we weren't as vocal as we were and as we have been, we probably would never see a Mace, or we probably wouldn't see some of these figures that, are up and coming. We just have to be continuously more vocal about it. So I, do understand that. So, and again, all things subjective. We're just talking, speaking from the heart. What we base that's is, how Toys can benefit. So I hope you're listening, because you have some benefits here. Just listening to your group, listening to people out there who do love your product. You just have to be a bit more transparent. Anyway, everybody, thank you for being here today. It was a great show. I do appreciate it. It's been so good to have everybody on here. We're gonna start with you, Ben. We got coming up next, bro.
So you can catch the rewind of my Moon Knight finale and sort of season review show that was on yesterday night. So that was a great discussion, kind of giving our overall thoughts on the Moon Knight series. I'm probably going to post a review for this Medicom 1/6 scale Kick-Ass figure that came today, so that's all very exciting. And that's probably what's going on. Oh, I did make an announcement on my show last night as well that my next weekly review show will, of course, be for Obi-Wan Kenobi. So the attention-seeking geek is going attention-seeking Jedi at the end of May. And I'm really, really excited to kind of chat Star Wars every week, basically with like-minded people. So
hell yeah, that's going to be interesting, man. So I can't wait for that. Again, if you haven't already, follow Attention Seeking Geek on IG and YouTube. Great content, amazing content. So glad to have you here with us, brother. Shane, bro, what you got coming up, man?
Mate.
Yeah, I want to come on that show, by the way. Just the Obi-Wan show. Do you know? You don't stream at like 3 o'clock in the morning or anything, do you?
No.
Yeah, these Americans.
Hey, no. I stream at normal times of the day. It's Lael who streams 24/7, not me.
Right. So what are we doing? All right, yeah. So all those drops during the week, I did like a whistle stop tour of those drops, just in case you've been living under a Hot Toys rock or something for the last week. But that is up on the YouTube channel, and I did individual pre-order previews of R2, C-3PO, the 2 clones, and the battle droids. They're all up apart from the battle droid and R2, which are going up tonight. Next stream I'm on will actually be this time next week, Collectors Lounge, because I'm just really busy over the next week. So I'm just going to be, the next one will be next week. And I decided to buy another 2 more IKEA black shelves, the floating shelves, because I have 3 of them here, and they go into the corner of the room. The top one's in the corner, and then they're staggered down. And I'm going to make like a pyramid. I'm going to have another 2 just to balance off. So it'll be 1 on the center, and then 2 on the same level, and then a lower 2. Just it just gives you a bit more space. And if you look them up here, there's just all the space I'm not using. It just makes perfect sense. And I really like the look of the floating shelves. So I'm going to just go through the process of just hanging them. And like they're €8 each, and they're really easy to hang. And I'm going to put a video there together. And they were for quarter scales, because I do have 1 at the moment. I have 1 on the way. But I think I might just, when I have the extra 2 shelves, just maybe a bit more creative about what I put up there. Maybe like a few troopers or something, or maybe like pair up some figures. Be interesting, I think. So I'm going to do that video on the IKEA LAC floating shelves installation. I hope I don't set the house on fire or something. I'm not the most DIY savvy, but I have 3 of them up. I can get 2 more up, So that's pretty much it. So if you haven't followed me on Instagram, it's at 16figurefocus, and the YouTube channel is 16figurefocus. Maybe watch the whistle stop tour of the drops during the week, those 5 drops. And if it's your cup of tea, hit the subscribe button. If it's not, don't. That's it.
Come on, man. Hit and support. Come on, man. On the road to 1,000 subs. That's what we're trying to get to. So we'll get there, and we're going to get him there. Definitely
manifesting that.
We're manifesting that.
Kids say.
Subs.
Yeah.
Definitely, we want to do that. Let me ask you one quick question before I move over to Butt Naked. Bro, how far is your IKEA from you?
Oh, it's half an hour.
Yeah, mine's about half hour as well.
And that's how we ended Collectors Lounge for good. Yeah.
IKEA,
how far is
you,
yours?
man. Huh?
How far is yours?
Bro, my IKEA is about an hour and a half away. Literally.
Oh, sucks to be you.
Philadelphia or Baltimore. Those are the only 2 choices I have in between me right now. That's how far they are from me, bro. So
Yeah,
I got to travel to each, because I got to go to
Philly.
Yeah, so I got to
go to Philly.
I got to go to Townsend, either Townsend or Philadelphia, to actually grab my DTOFs. That's how crazy it is, bro. So it's best in my best interest, if I do get a DTOF, or if anything that I actually want from them, to call ahead to make sure it's there and save myself the trip, because I don't want to take
mine
that
is like
trip down
35-40 minutes away.
See,
but I don't. These
See,
are
I call ahead.
Well, my cases are here; those are gone.
Yeah, see, IKEA, you got to come this way, man. You got to stop playing with me, man. Just have one closer, even if it's, I mean, we got Lancaster close to us. We got so many different places, man. Come on, you can do it. I stop playing. Anyway,
Lael, if you want, like, you come up to Fan Expo Boston in August, and I'll give you 5 DTOFs to take with you.
Whoa, there's a proposition.
I have 5 DTOFs that I'm getting rid of once the last round of Maji cases come in. 3 here and 2 in my living room, and they're gone.
See,
Leo, you're gonna have a museum.
Not
He already
here's
does.
the thing. I'm with me
Multiverse
right
of
now,
themselves.
because I'm actually getting a custom display made right now, just designed. I'm not gonna put the money into that, because I already know how this is going to be. And I'm so excited that it's finally going to be constructed and it's going to be good to have. So I'm definitely happy about that. I love DTOFs.
For free. You can have 5 for free. You just gotta haul them.
Do you know how hard that's going to be to draw as you take apart?
Motherfucker, I can't do everything for you.
Bro, you done them things a crack driving the whole way home. That's like 3.5 hours away from you. Yeah.
Excuse me while I build a bridge to cross the river of fucking tears that I'm drowning in right now.
Hey. It is what it is, brother. It is what it is.
Oh God.
Yeah, it is what it is. Anyway, man, what you got coming up, bro?
Monday night tomorrow.
Discussion.
Moon Knight,
Yeah.
Doctor Strange, just where everything's headed. So that's gonna be a fun discussion with you and Vinny and Jason. So yeah, just that. I'm gonna do a lot of comic reading this week. I picked up some stuff for myself, for my kids, for free comic book day on yesterday.
Yeah.
So that was good. I got a late night FaceTime from somebody blaming me for all the
$210.
money.
I spent
I didn't
$210 on my books yesterday.
because and why did you have to spend that much money? Because no. Why did you spend that much money? Because you kept not going to the shop and picking out your box, picking up your pull list, so it built up.
Yes,
right. And what did I tell you when you and Toya FaceTime me last night? Procrastination is like masturbation. You're only screwing yourself. Okay.
This guy with the one-liners.
I'm just saying, it's not my fault that you spent $200 and something odd on comics in one night.
Continue.
That's it.
That's all you got.
Anyway,
y'all, if y'all haven't already, follow Brendan, Max Effort Collection or Real Raleigh on Instagram. That's where you want to go. Again, everybody here, if you are following the channel, make sure you hit the subscribe button or hit the like button on this video. Also, for those out there who are, if you're just, coming on board, you want to hit that subscribe, share, also become a member because memberships are up right now. And on top of that, just keep in mind that we do still actually have going on right now for the whole month of May. It is the Force of May giveaway, which is the quarter scale Mandalorian and Grogu set by Hot Toys, supplied by my bro Marcos over there, Collector's Zone. Again,
do
all you
not
have
sleep
to do,
on this figure.
Don't do it, definitely. And you're getting it brand new for free in a box. Come on, man. You
never sleep on a chance to get a Hot Toys quarter scale for free. One, they're expensive. Two, if you've never experienced a Hot Toys quarter scale, you don't really know like what Hot Toys is capable of, because quarter scale, man, it's next level. It really is. This is a chance to get one for free. And I've never seen a channel give away a free Hot Toys quarter scale before. So do not sleep on this.
So don't basically sleep on this piece. And you can get it. All you have to do is subscribe, become a member to this channel, go over to Collector's Zone Cantina, become a member of the group. Tell them why you like Star Wars, who's your favorite character, why that character relates to you, and you'll have a chance to win this piece. Simple as that. You don't have to jump through hurdles. That's all you have to basically do, and you can win this piece. So definitely support the channel, support Collector's Zone Cantina. Everybody that you actually see here today, everybody out in the chat, it's been a blessing to have you with us on this Mother's Day. All the mothers out there, no matter where you are internationally, you deserve praise. Thank you for basically being here with us. We love you all. Until next week, come on, man, keep it.
Make sure your collection is nice and clean. Until next week, as Shane would say, make sure it is all clean. Let's go.